Hello, everyone. Good evening. I know we're 10 minutes out. I didn't know what time I was going to go live this evening at, so that's why I said roughly around 7 o'clock. I didn't really know. To be totally honest, I had a good bit to do. Um, so we're not too far away from the election. You'd be sick of me now for the next few days, just to say. Because we've pretty much been nearly live the next few days. We definitely be live tomorrow night, Friday night. We're not going to know much anyway Friday night. Um, but yeah, that'll be the plan, and then Saturday too and Sunday. So pretty much the rest this week, pretty much. Um, all going well anyway. Because I have everything. There's nothing coming up for me, so there shouldn't be any issues, in terms of that. Something turning up out of the blue. Well, something could turn up, of course, but basically we'll be live for the next few days. Obviously with the election, is that the notification of the live stream? If that's so, then it's quick. Jesus Christ, it was quick. That's the first time ever it's been that quick, like literally within a few seconds. That's a good sign. YouTube seems to like me all of a sudden for some reason. But yeah, so it's very foggy now this evening. It's very foggy. Hello, Brian. How are we doing? Very foggy one. Like it is very, very foggy. I was out for a bit of a wander a few minutes ago, and even when all day it didn't clear out either too. But it's severely bad now. Like you can barely see in front of you. Uh, but early, it never cleared up since this morning, the fog. So hello, Tony. Too. How are we doing? Hope you're looking forward to voting your woman in and awfully. I hope you'll be voting her number one, Tony. Oh, you'll be having words. But no, it's just speaking to Carl Nolan. Yeah, there's 100% really guaranteed that she'll probably get in. I don't think there's any issue with that one. I think she's going to get in first established. Carol Nolan. So yeah, so long so short, you're going to see me for the next few days. I hope you're looking for that. And you're not voting, excuse me, Tony. You're not voting for your woman, excuse me. I have to tell her this. I make sure to tell her this now. Come again, Tony. You're not voting, excuse me. Not participating in democracy. But the good news you're going to enjoy. We'll be live for the next few days. You're going to be sick of me. I have a drink with her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she won't want to drink with you if you don't vote for Tony. Do you know that? I butt in and I say, this man didn't vote for you, so why would you have a drink with him? But long story short, we'll be here for the next few days, basically. We'll be live tomorrow, we'll be live Friday, we'll be live Saturday and Sunday, and if necessary, Monday and Tuesday. So pretty much for the next few days. Thankfully, I have the videos touching the cavan and Monaghan constituency. So basically, it takes a bit of God they're finished, because literally there was about 5 hours of footage for the two videos. Now there's so much hours cut of it, like it was ridiculous the amount of time I spent on them. To be totally honest, I went too in depth, especially the bits I've cut. Like it was only the two videos that came out was only 31 minutes and 24 minutes, but they were very long. Like there were all the bits that were cut off it, like literally an hour and a bit cut off it, because they were that long. Like it's simply insane how long I went on about each individual. Like went on with individual stuff in different parts of Cavan that nobody would know of, only a few people. So thankfully I cut them bits out of the video, because literally people would probably lose the will to live watching them videos. And again, long story short, the two of them together are very, very long. I don't know why the one, would you believe, where I'm talking about the ones I won't vote for, is getting the most views than the ones I'm talking about voting for. It doesn't make much sense. That one doesn't make much sense to me. I suppose I should have probably done the one the people that I'm voting for the first video instead of doing it second. But it was more easier to do the one that I had, the ones that I wasn't going to vote for, if that makes any sense. And especially because there's a lot of candidates in general, It was a lot of talking about different candidates, and so I was muddled up half of the time. A lot of the things too that I cut out of them videos I was confused at some points what I was saying, because I was confused myself between each candidate, particularly the Fine Gael one. I got confused at one stage between another councillor that I wasn't running, and I got confused between Calma Bailey. I mistaken the whole lot of this, so I muddled myself. So thankfully I cut that bit out, because I just muddled myself up in fears. Because talking with 20 candidates and trying to talk about each point, etc., it's very confusing on the brain. Let's put it that way, because it's a lot. 20 candidates is a lot. The last one's the most important one. What the last one, the ones I'm voting, the people I'm voting for, is the most important one, more than the other ones. Now, I will say a lot of people who watched that video said I went very hard on one of the TDs, Neve Smith. like a lot of people took that clip and kind of shared it around as well as that bit when I went talked about Eve Smith and accountability, etc., etc. And a lot of people agree with it. Uh, because as I say, what accountability was the 40? Like she says that the foot for post to accountability. There's no accountability in OT. They're still there. OT is still functioning. D Wall and them are not in prison. They're not, paying back the money they owe to the state. So basically, nothing was done about it. They got rewarded in the meantime. But anyway, but I only said what I thought. Again, it's my own opinion, as I say, and a lot of people agreed with me. In Cavan, there was white, particularly in that point. That not many people are willing to say it, but it is the truth. And I've heard many people saying that people are too afraid to say it, in my opinion. But it needs to be said. Hello, Gordon. Hello. I said hello to you. I'm mixing myself up already. But yeah, we'll be here for the next few days. You'll basically be sick of me now for the next few days. There'll be a few videos, not too much. Basically, with the two videos for talking the Cavan election, it was a bit too much. Hello, Alan. How are you doing? Some bullshit on OT news. It's obvious. Yeah, well, the only time I ever watched OT in donkey's years at this stage, I had to watch it for the leaders debate. I watched the leaders debate last night, because I want to kind of know what I'm talking about, basically. And I'll get into that probably in a second too. But yeah, I don't know. Was there something on Fair City you're talking about? Fair City. Well, nobody watches Fair City. Who watches Fair City? Like, show me the man that watches Fair City. Um, like Fair Cities, like didn't they have to cut Fair City? They used to be like they used to have it on 3 times a week. Now don't have it on twice a week, but nobody's watching it. People are sick of it. Fair City is sick of OT anyway. But my point is, I suppose, top of OT too. That there's no accountability. Neve Smith was the chair of the Public Accounts Committee on, I think €54,000 for sitting on the chair as the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, and there's no accountability. So I don't know why she has it on the foot of her poster, accountability, because nobody was ever convicted. Nobody was sent to prison for OT over misuse of public funds, corruption, etc. All forgiven, all forgotten. They came into the Public Accounts Committee. It was a charade. It really was a charade. And nothing was ever done about it. And Eve Smith never said, oh, the government shouldn't, and her being a member of Fianna Fáil shouldn't have said, no, OT should not be bailed out. It should be left to sink in what. But no, she didn't say anything. So I think that's the main thing I have a problem with Eve Smith at the moment. And particularly, again, saying accountability, the first thing that's on our poster, accountability. If that's accountability, I don't know what to say to you, to be totally honest. And the majority of people agree with it, because there's no accountability. Nothing was ever done about it in the North. And if the TV license was scrapped, except that would have been accountability. But nothing was ever done. It's still probably happening in the North as we see. As we see, we talk about later on, with Fine Gael winging up OT pretty much every night, telling them what to cover and what not to cover, etc., etc. Like, as we know ourselves, OT is just basically the state mouth for the government, basically. Like, basically it is. We'll get into that in a second about the video that went viral on Friday. But the thing about it is they didn't want it to go viral. They didn't want people to see it. They only Joe to see it. And it might have just fucked Fine Gael, but anyway. Fuck Fine Gael, exactly. But anyway. How are we doing? Sorry, I know I'm wanting on and waving. There's 100 million things I could be talking about, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. But I do appreciate everybody stick with me. I know it's been a lot the last few weeks, particularly with videos, etc. There's a lot of videos. There was a lot of things to cover. That's only half of the stuff I wanted to cover. There's many more I could make, and many more I have made. There's there's about 10 videos that were coded, etc., and ready to go. But I think I just leave them and not put them out because it might cause. We're not video workers or anything, but it might be too much information I'm putting out there for people. It's kind of too much for people to process, if that makes any sense. I've kind of given people too much thought, about everything. And like myself, my brain's dying because of all the information I have to take in nowadays. How was your day? Not too bad, apart from the weather was a bit shitty. It's foggy. It's just a ton of fog, and it was never cleared all day. It was just kind of miserable. Even though it's a lot worse now this evening than it was this morning and throughout the day, but it never cleared. So never seen the sun today. But anyway, we'll get started in a minute or two. But anyway, but yeah, I do recommend, if anybody's in Cavan or you know anybody from Cavan, particularly the second video, the part 2 of the Cavan Monaghan video is very important for people to watch. Particularly if you're undecided, if you're an undecided voter, etc., from Cavan and Monaghan, very important to watch. Miserable nowadays, pretty much. Yeah, Yes, but I don't know. We give it a minute or two and then we get started. How does that sound? We have a bit to talk, but not too much. Because see, we'll be live the next few days, so you'll be sick of me anyway. So let's put it that way. Uh, did anybody get the vote? Next question, I suppose. Did anybody get the voting card? I got mine when I was here this morning, but I was at work. I came home and it was on the doorstep. So I got my voting card today, which is great. I was worried that I wouldn't get it, but I did get it. But still, just to say, if you don't get your voting card, you can still go down if you're registered to vote. If you're on the register of election, you can still go down to your local polling station. As long as you're on the list, you're signed up for the election, if that makes any sense. Just to say, I know a few people have asked me that. You can still do it. You need to bring probably ID with you just to clarify that you are the person, But obviously, if you know the people, etc., etc. Good evening, Sean. How are we doing? But you get what I'm saying. So if you don't have a voting card in the election, you can still vote. You can still go down and vote as long as you're registered. If that makes any sense. It shouldn't really be any problem really in the majority of areas. But I would recommend just bringing a voting card just in case, particularly if it doesn't come the voting card. But it should come. The majority of people I've talked to have got the voting card the last day or two, so it should be there. But if it doesn't come, you can still vote anyway, as long as you registered, etc., etc. Because it should be on the list. There's a list. I've seen the lists. But they have lists, the people, the voting officers, they have the lists of the people in each booth, etc., etc. Oh, your youngest son is not registered. Are you sure he's not registered? Did he? Are you talking about he just didn't get his voting card because he could be still registered if he isn't? What's this now? Sorry. No, not every election. It's every few years you need to re-register you basically. But no, not every election. No. But you just to check the register, especially when you're forced on vote, you have to register to vote, etc., etc. Not every election. No. But you have to check it every once in a while, like every few years, every 5 years or something like that. Could just update your details, etc. But usually you don't. Are you sure it didn't go through now? Are you sure it's not? Yeah, so it's not. You're not waiting for the voting card, so it didn't go through. Well, that sucks. But you probably done it during that time because the time before it closed. You can't do it now. But before it closed there last week, the week before, there was a flurry of people. Like so many people of what's done it basically. So I presume that's probably the reason why, because the system was overwhelmed. Did he do it like literally last minute? Because that a few weeks ago was the last time you could register. You can't register now. Because a lot of people were doing it that time. See, a lot of people leave things at the last minute to do it. But we suppose we get started. But it's a pity. But sure, look at after the election, you can register anyway, for the next election or whatever, maybe the referendum, whatever it could be. As soon as he turned 18, well, that's something. I don't know what's the reason behind that now, but he's sure he put all his details in right. Because there is an issue, and just talking to a person that I know that's over the election kind of things in Cavan County Council there is an issue with people putting wrong addresses, etc., etc. Are you sure that they didn't go to you didn't put in the wrong address and it went to somewhere else? Are you sure of that now? Or you didn't put in the wrong PPS number or something like that? Because there was an issue one time with somebody that put in the wrong address and they didn't think they'd done it right and they ended up with somebody else's address. He obviously didn't do it right. Well, that's okay. No, well, yeah, but look into it again. But yeah, you can't do anything unfortunately now. But your name wasn't on the list. Name was not on the list. But did you get the vote? No, they wouldn't let me vote. Oh, they wouldn't let you vote. Oh, they found your name on the list. Yeah, see, there's the list. Even though you don't get your voting card, I got my voting card for the referendum. I got it this time. But I'm just saying it's still be on the list because I've seen the list in the council there. That they do have a list of the people that are registered to vote. Even though you don't get your voting card, you can still do it. And it should be on the list. If you were registered to vote through check the register, it would be on the list. But it's good to just stood your ground. But I don't know what was the issue. But again, some people would be awkward. Um, I don't think like in this area, they would know you. I suppose where you are in Donegal, there might be a few people that wouldn't know you. But I know the majority of people that's over the weather and stuff like that down here in the village here and stuff like that. So basically, they all know each. Everybody knows each other. So that's what I'm trying to say. So that will be probably an issue in this part of here, but in other parts and big areas, I would. Uh, yeah, but it still didn't matter. We won the we got it. We got it through the referendum. We got it. We got it in a favour for our side. Yeah. Oh, but at least the main thing was that it didn't go through. That was the main thing with the referendum. It didn't go. It didn't go their way. Yeah, it could have been the wrong address, but I'm just saying. But a person back a few years ago, I knew I know the person in the council that's over billing the billing part of the register, the vote, etc., etc. Because it's through the local authority you register. Um, so that was the issue with that because it was set to the wrong address, even though the person had their name down was the wrong address and the voting card out. Issues like that can arise. Not coming up. But yeah, well, I say after the election, ring your through the local authority. I don't know. It'll probably be It's a South Dublin County Council. That's your local authority because it's through the local authority um, that they send out your details. Uh, but see, again, yeah, it's through the local authority. So South Dublin County Council. Yeah, I would ring. They have an office. Each county council have an office to do with elections and register the elections. I would look into it as soon as the election's over. I wouldn't ring them up now about it though, because they'd be on top of their head, I suppose, at the moment. Um, but definitely after the election, see about it because it's important for somebody to have, especially a young person, to have a voice, and to vote for who they think is the best. But it's unfortunate. But I suppose it's a good thing too that people have to register them. Like you just don't turn up and you get your ballot because anybody could then people from Timbuktu could turn up and vote. If that makes any sense. So it's supposed it's a good thing in a way too. Um, anyway, sorry, I went on for a good while. So I just want to talk straight away about this. So I heard this on drive time. An OT. I had to listen. See, I have to listen to OT nowadays, and it's driving my head up the bend listening to it. So, literally, a car crash for Independent Ireland at the moment. So, Shane P. O'Reilly is the independent candidate in Cavan, and I've heard it for myself. Like I literally heard it with my own ears. As Tom O'Howan puts it here, the presenter asked Independent Ireland to promise to build a Lewis line type system in Cavan. The candidate said it wasn't true and claimed it was yes, this publication even though like it literally is then read out the extract line for the manifesto. Like it literally is. Like Shane P. O'Reilly, I don't know what he's trying to do here. Or does he know anything at all? But I will be voting Shane P. O'Reilly in Independent Ireland. I couldn't trust Independent Ireland. But long story short, this is pretty bad that he doesn't even know one of his main policies. Because for Independent Ireland, their main policy is really immigration. Then obviously, um, yeah, and then obviously the top of the infrastructure like this, take for example, Lewis trams in the major towns of the country. One of the major things, again, second major thing, along with immigration and stuff like that. So the fact that he doesn't know or doesn't really care to know, I don't know which it is, but yeah, it's pretty bad. Like they not even know what you're standing really in a way. Um, so, and especially because again, I've looked into that after it again that it is true. Like it's in the manifesto of Independent Ireland. It is there. Like it is there. And I've talked about it before at that time with the Independent Ireland stuff. So I don't know what Shane P. O'Reilly, but this might cost them a few votes. What I'm trying to say, because it looks very bad that you even know what you're running on, basically. So this is a car crash for Independent Ireland, and particularly in Cavan. I don't know. I don't think Shane P. O'Reilly is going to get in anyway. I don't think so. I don't think he is. I think a lot of people feel, particularly myself. Again, I would say it to him. I haven't come across him, but a lot of people feel very let down by Kieran Maloney joining Fianna Fáil's party in the European Union, the Renewal group in the European Union. So that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't vote for Independent Ireland because of that. I don't trust him. I couldn't trust him because why would I vote for Shane P. O'Reilly now when he go in with Fianna Fáil when he gets into the government? They go into coalition with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and the same cracker happened again. Unfortunately, that's what happened. So I have to. They lost my trust when the first established Independent Ireland was willing to give them a chance. But as soon as Killen Maloney done that, all that went out the window with me. So they would have to, improve their strategy. I suppose, and not getting to bed with Fianna Fáil, basically. Because lucky I wasn't here for the European election because I would have voted Kieran Maloney number one, and I would have to be totally honest, I should have instead of voting Kieran Maloney number one. Lucky I wasn't here at the time, as I say. But it would have been better voting for Fianna Fáil at that stage because it was getting one and the same, basically. You voted independent and you got Fianna Fáil, so it wasn't much difference, There was no difference, really. They crossed off as they told me. See, they're not going to have an issue with me because I literally be the first person there. Like, I was the first person there at the referendums. Like, literally, the door, I was literally just there before they opened the door. So I was literally the first person. I will be in this election too. So they can't cross it out when I'm literally the first person there. So they can't really pull them shenanigans with me, unfortunately. Yeah, well, it's pretty shady stuff if that's the case. But at least you got it. The main thing, as long as you got to vote, it would have been different if they didn't let you at all. But again, as you say, only for you stuck around for a few minutes. But good on you, Sean, because a lot of people just can't say fuck it. Oh, this is a night you're talking about. But anyway, as long as you got the vote, that was the main thing. But is it no? But just you don't have to answer this now. Anybody here? But anybody here going to vote independent Ireland in the election? Does anybody take that? I voted the morning of the election for our election. I was faster than expected. Yeah, like no, but in Ireland the voting booths open from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. Like it is quite a long time to have it open. Yeah, but I just want to be down because I have work anyway at 8 o'clock. I have to go to work at 8 o'clock. So even though I'm finished at 3 o'clock Friday, finished a half day on Fridays usually. But I'd rather just go down and vote and be done with the first thing. And make sure that I'm shown to be very encouraged because not many young people would be bothered to go out, get up, feel sad because that means I have to get up at 5:30. I usually get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 to go to work, etc. So I had to get up literally an hour earlier, and not many young people would do that, just to go and vote. So I'd be ready and everything. And straight after I'm finished voting, off to work I go. Yeah, like it always goes to 10 o'clock at night, and it won't be counting through Saturday morning. There'll be nothing done during the night. So just talking about this and talking about OT earlier on. So Roderick O'Gorman was asked by OT here, and basically you want to hear is I would recommend to listen to this video. But long story short, he basically says waffle. That's pretty much it. There's no where is the children? Like OT asked him. In fairness, he didn't answer the question. He went on waffling and waffling and waffling. So we don't know where these children are. There's still no answers. And again, no pushback from your man in OT. You think he'd say, that's not answering the question. Where are the children, Roderick? But no, there's just waffle, and he forgets all about it. So some journalist thought he is. And particularly this fellow, some journalist, he didn't ask any tough questions. Like he shouldn't have let him get out of it. Roderick O'Gorman just waffled on about, we'll have a hard time, etc., all this, that, and the other. But no question, no answers, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So pretty much OT just let him off the hook, even though in fairness they did ask him it, but they didn't push him for the answer. They just kind of let him waffle on, which isn't good. So this is to do with Kerry. So this is from Ireland votes. So this is the Kerry constituency, TG Cahill. Unfortunately, and this is the like I don't know what's wrong with people in Kerry, but apparently Fianna Fáil, Fine Fall is going on, and this is the most shocking thing. This is delusional. If people think if this is true, I know people say don't trust the polls, but we obviously understand that Michael Healy-Rae is going to run away with it. Like there's no doubt about that, and Danny Healy-Rae probably will get elected. I don't think there's any question about that. But no more Foley. 14%. No more Foley, the Minister for Education, the one that's trying to indoctrinate our kids, and not to mention all the fuckery she's done over the year and the last few years, all the fuckery she's up to. Is going to probably be back in Dáil Éireann, unfortunately. Going by this poll, it might be wrong. We see. Hopefully it is wrong. Because literally, I'd rather see anybody else really than Norma Foley. Because Norma Foley, really, Norma Foley in Dáil again. Jesus Christ. Also, the people in Kerry are going mad if they're voting the Green Party. 3% for the Green Party. You know, it's insane. Where is that pen gone down? But imagine that. And the Labour Party too, like it's insane. So we see. Hopefully, this is wrong because I couldn't. I don't know if Norma Foley gets back in. I don't know what to say because the one person that should lose. Well, there's a lot of them that should lose those seats, but the one person should is this woman right here because she's a danger to everybody and to kids specifically. From Kevin himself. Yeah, I get you, Brian. That maybe people will like her because she's a local woman, etc., etc. But you know what I'm saying? Like, look at her reputation. It's atrocious. It is generally atrocious. It's just absolutely atrocious. Like she's done literally nothing right in education. Like particularly the last comment she's come out with this last few weeks is an opportunity apparently teacher shortages in schools. You know, and particularly then obviously with the kids, the SPHE stuff. Like it literally is paedophilia. In my opinion, it is paedophilia. Um, so like literally she's done no good to anybody. You know, to be totally honest. In my opinion, and obviously going back to the leaving sort during my time too, no good for anybody. No addition. In my opinion, I know people have different opinions, but you know, Norma Foley now, like generally. Uh, I don't know about that one, and particularly her father. Then I know it's not true at all, but her father wasn't you know had a account in the Virgin Islands, etc., etc. So you know, and again, going back, and they can go on and on and on about different things with Norma Foley. 9 o'clock, just as they were about to leave, I could guess many of them. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it was a night. I thought we were talking about in the morning. It was going to be like that's an awful thing, you know, for them just to have to cross that. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't like I don't know. Some people would say the poll is not, but I shudder to think the normal 40 will get 14% because I couldn't imagine anybody voting for normal 40. I couldn't imagine it because she hasn't done really anything, and I would say if she done it, but she hasn't done anything. Like the school transport, the mess with the school transport, there's literally children without SNAs, the lack of teachers, this comment about opportunities the leaving sort back, like I could go on, like generally I could go on. Uh, like the possibilities are endless. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I could talk for an hour, but no, she hasn't really done anything, in my opinion. And a lot of people the same. She hasn't done anything really to help anybody. And particularly again, when I was doing the leaving, so there was no help really for anybody. Only for we had to force her to do the predicted grades. She didn't give a shit. Simple as that. Um, and to be totally honest, she's no addition. She just votes the same way as Fianna Fáil Fine Gael. She has no backbone. She used to say she was pro-life back in a few years ago. She was like, "Oh, it's pro-life. I'm pro-life," but she clearly isn't. Basically. Oh, you know, but in big areas, you know yourself. In big areas, they wouldn't know you. Oh, down here they would know me, etc. Because they're local people, etc. So, but in big areas, you know yourself. Adrian might have used the phone. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I just been too late. Yeah, maybe. Hello, David. How are you doing? The video about all the different parties I vote for. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the video. Yeah, so I'm voting for Val Martin, obviously, of course, number 2, and Sarah Wiley, number 1. And then what they call Lester Gordon, number 3. I do recommend watching it because I go into huge detail. Like it's more detailed than I probably should have went into. But it's a long video, I understand. But if you get a few minutes, do watch it. I talk about the National Party too, Mark Malone. I'm going to give him a reference too. Geez, no, oh, it's on another channel. Sorry, I didn't see that. I know I didn't see it, Evan. I thought you were talking about my video. No, I didn't see it. Didn't see it. See, I'm only really back from work. You're talking about today because I'm only back from work. Hello, John. How are you doing? I'm here a bit late. No, no bother. Don't apologize for being late. No, Jesus, don't do that. There's no need. People have lives, you know. What are the prospects for national? See, I just go back to this squid. So I don't know if you've seen the video that talks about, but I go into huge detail about it. But in my opinion, the best chance of a nationalist candidate getting in is Fal Martin and Lester Gordon. They're the best candidates at the moment that could get in. Particularly, again, the way I'm voting is who's likely to get in, basically. If that makes any sense. So I do think Fal Martin has a very good chance. He's very good chance of getting in. The Irish Freedom Party, now that says. And then Lester Gordon Independent, I think they have a very, very good chance of getting in. And accordingly, yeah, that's what I think. The two of them, one of them's likely to get in. Particularly again, as I say, Fal Martin. Like there's a lot of talk about Fal Martin, excuse me. So we see what happens, but they have a good chance. He has a good chance. He does have a good chance, and Lester Gordon the same. He done very well in the local authority election. Lester Gordon, he's going to get a lot of votes up in that area because he got a lot of votes last time, so he's going to do very well this time. So it's going to be between them two. I don't know about Mark Maloney of the National Party. I don't think he has as much reach, to be totally honest. I don't think he has much reach like in the areas. Like he's not that well known. It's really what's about is about people that are well known. So I don't know about Mark Maloney. I could be wrong, but I don't know, and I don't know about the fellow from Liberty Republic too. I presume that Fal Martin and Lester Gordon are the most likely to answer your question, John. And I would encourage people to vote. As I say, if you watch that video, anybody, do watch it because I explain in detail all why I'm voting the way I'm voting, etc., etc. You know. If that makes sense, because I go into, I could have added a bit more to it, add an hour more footage to it. Like literally, I went into excessive detail, more than the only Joe would take about it. Basically, I don't know if that adds, but that's the way I see it. I know people might see it differently and stuff, but I do think they have a very good chance. Like particularly Fal Martin being the detective sergeant, there are many areas around this. He was in Clonus as a detective sergeant. He was in Cavan as a detective sergeant. So he's well known, obviously being a particularly high rank in the Garda Síochána would know a lot of people and obviously engage with communities, etc., etc. He would be well known, and then obviously for the pylons too, and then obviously the farmers, he'd be well known, and that's what I'm saying. So the more people you know, the better. That's what I'm saying. And then obviously being a YouTuber too, you have a better reach. If that makes sense, that's the way I'm seeing it, and a lot of people have said it to me, and I've encouraged a good few people to vote for Fal Martin in my area, etc., etc. Yeah, so I'm giving it my number 2 vote. Yeah. As I said about the number 1, I know some people would say, well, particularly I'm voting for into number 1. But the reason why, as I say, it's in the video. It's a long explanation, but Sarah Wiley's been very good to me, and she's done everything. Anytime I went to Sarah Wiley, I've read to her must have been about 50 things over the last few years. And every time I went to her about them 50 things, always something was done about it. So, and then particularly, there's many things I say in the video. Like, I'm not going to go through it all here, but I have my reasons for voting, basically. I wouldn't vote for any other candidate. Oh no, but as I say, if you watch the video and I explain in detail what I'm talking about, giving into like if it was any other candidate, I wouldn't be giving it to into. To be totally honest, only for that, I think Sarah Wiley is a good enough candidate and is likely to get elected. And my other thought behind that, just before I say anything else, she's likely to take a seat. Either whoever gets elected is likely to take a seat from Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil. So I'd rather into than Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, to be totally honest. So it's kind of to stop them from getting a seat. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Or God forbid people before profit, Because the funniest thing, just before I say anything else too, people before profit in Cavan, all of a sudden they're getting a bit of a rise. One stage were on 0.7%, now they've gone up to 1.7%. So the people before profit are getting a bit of a rise now in Cavan. For some reason, I don't know why. I think they're going to get the Labour Party vote because there's no Labour Party candidate, so I presume that's why they're getting the rise, because the Labour Party's telling them to vote, the vote for them, to vote for people before profit. I presume that's the reason why. Yeah, he did the funny singing video. Yeah, Fiona, he did. I do encourage people, just to say anybody in Cavan to vote for Fal Martin. As I say, I have personal reasons for voting for Sarah Wiley, etc., etc. I go into huge detail in the video. I'll not go through it all here again because I'll be here for an hour discussing it. But no, Sarah White has been very good to me. Anytime I went to her about anything, there was always something done about it compared to the other candidates, etc., etc. Oh, I get what you're saying, but it's not the party that I'm voting on. This is the thing. I'm not the party. I was on the candidate. I do think Sarah White is a lot better than the other candidates for Main Tour, and I do think she should be the leader of Main Tour, to be honest. But long story short, she's a lot stronger on stuff than the other parties of Main Tour. Like she spoke about immigration before the West of Main Tour, and she was the only one in the council that did it. So, uh, but it's a long story behind it. Basically, the video I explain it to the end. But see, I thought very hard about it in the video. As I say, I explain a lot of it. But mainly, I rather her than Fianna Gael getting the seat, if that makes any sense. I'm sure everybody would agree. I wouldn't want Fianna Gael or Fianna Fáil taking the seat. Yeah, like I'm not going to vote Sinn Féin or Labour Party. Like forget about that one. But I rather like so it's either one. The way I see it with Sarah White, and the reason why I'm picking it into, because she has a good chance of getting in. Like out of all of them, she has a good chance of getting in. And I'd rather Sarah Wiley than Sinn Féin, or Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael, God forbid. So you had to pick, I suppose, in a way. And she does have a good chance. She always tops the poll in the Gutil video by huge margins. Like she's 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 votes over the quota in the local authority election, take for example. So huge amount of votes, as I say. So she basically might win away with it this time. So that's the only reason why. Like if it was any other Ain2 candidate, I wouldn't vote for them. Like there's two other Ain2 candidates here. They're not one in the local, but the one in the local election, and I wouldn't vote for them. But as I say, I have loads of reasons why I'd be voting for Sarah Wiley. And I know people would disagree with Ain2, but it's not the party. I'm not saying I don't agree with Ain2 on everything. It's more the candidate. I do think she's a good person and has a good heart, and will do the right thing when she gets in. And we'll stand. And if Ain2 goes against, I do think she stand up to them. To be honest, I do think she has backbone. And we'll stand up to Paddy Turbine if Paddy Turbine says do this or do that she doesn't agree with. I do think she will stand up to them. And I might be honest, because again, I've known her for a long time, and she's a good candidate. She does have a good heart, and that's the reason why. I know people, and if she wasn't one, I would be voting for Martin number one. Like that's the only reason why. But I will give him a very good reference in number two. And again, you have to remember it's a proportional system, I suppose, too. That really number twos and number threes can come in handy in terms of when the people are eliminated, etc., and votes are transferred. Like it's a whole complicated system, the electric system in Ireland. Hello, Greenfield. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of comments. Oh, I've seen that, but yeah. But compared to the others, I suppose, like the others are just like, let's bring in the world, At least, like in terms of that comment, maybe you could say it's a bit delusional in that regard. But in terms of the West, I'm just saying we're bringing everybody, basically. Like Helen McAtee was arguing, we need to bring in people to build houses. So we need to bring in people to build houses. That's what Helen McAtee basically said. So bring in more people to build houses. Where are you going to put these people? It keeps going on and on. Hello, Greenface. I'm sorry. I'm too busy yapping. Yeah, well, I hope Carol Nolan gets into Matty McGuire. Because in fairness to Carol Nolan and Matty McGuire, they've said things that people wouldn't say in the door and stuff like that. So they are good enough. They're good, very good TDs. Shane Mulligan, yeah, we'll give him my fifth vote. Is my fifth vote. I will give him my fifth vote. I'm given, so the way I'm phrasing it, just so I say, I don't know, but again, I would watch the video to anybody because I give very good explanation. That's why the video is so long, because I'm not just going off a whiff, take for example. I'm not just sitting down and being like, yeah, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. I've actually sat down and thought about it. If that makes any sense. I'm sure people would agree with that. Like, that's why the video is that long. I'm sure everyone would agree. Like, I've thought about this literally for the last few months, if that makes any sense. So yeah. So I just briefly tell you who I'm voting for. But I do recommend it because I give all the reasons why I'm voting each candidate this and that, if that makes any sense to you. I know it's a long bit of it. It's 34 minutes. But as I said, I'm not saying to vote into just to say. I'm not endorsing people to vote into. But I'm just saying Sarah Wiley, is a good candidate. But I wouldn't endorse people to vote into in your constituency state, for example. I would say to vote independents. Uh, like, say if I was in another constituency now, I would be voting for somebody else, if that makes any sense. If I was, like, say if it was in Paddy Turbine's constituency, I wouldn't be giving Paddy Turbine my number one vote. I'd give him a reference, but I wouldn't give him my number one vote. Uh, out some spanners. Dishing out some spanners. Yeah, no, but I know people would disagree with me on into bit. But as I say, I've thought about it a lot, if that makes any sense. Um, so that's the only reason why, but uh, give me a second, I'm just writing this out. But I do recommend people to watch then. But as I say, it's my own personal opinion on it. Yeah, well, I don't know. You could phrase it in many different ways, I suppose. In that terms, what he said, but he probably only said it because it wouldn't look good for him to come out. Is Mark Malone legit? Previously, people. Yeah, I think he used to be picked before popular with the late, but I can't really particularly remember. He was something there. I can't remember exactly. But he seems to be legit enough. But I don't think he has a good chance. And in fairness to Mark, I don't think he has a good chance. Like, I've said it to a few people that didn't even know who he was. Basically, if that makes any sense. And that's bad start. And these people would know things. Like the people I talked to would know people. If that makes any sense. And they didn't know who he was. They said to me, "Who are you? Who is that?" They didn't know who he was. So they didn't know. And these people would be like looking up stuff online, etc., etc. They never heard of him. So that's a very bad start, and particularly the people I was talking to, they would be very glued in the same as me, and they didn't know who he was, and that's a terrible, terrible start because they knew who Val Martin was, they knew who Lester Gordon, they knew about Shane Mulligan. I didn't know about Shane Mulligan until he stood for the election, but they didn't know who he was, and that was a pretty terrible thing, especially somebody that's glued in, that knows stuff and knows different things and is glued into communities, and these are what them two people were. And they never heard of him. So I hate this, you need to be known, basically, if that makes sense. So, but I will give him a reference, of course. That's what I say. So it's Sarah Wiley, number one, I'm given. Val Martin, number two. Lester Gordon, number three. Mark Malone, number four. Shane Mulligan, number five. And number six is Jimmy Fallon, isn't it? Jimmy Fallon, independent. Like I explained it in the video, basically, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that's what Helen McAtee literally said. Like, that's literally what Helen McAtee suggested the other night. Let's bring in more people to the houses, but where are they going to go? It's Mark Maloney. Sorry, Maloney. I think is what I'm saying. Am I saying it wrong or right? I seen that. Yeah, there's a Polish woman canvassing for his or two. I seen that, but I suppose it's her own business. As long as she doesn't vote, that's the main thing, I suppose. We're not likely the Green Party are going to do too well, and so I don't think it matters. The Green Party, like the fellow of the Green Party in Cavan here, he's finished. He's done for. Like, he's just done for. Like, people in Cavan are absolutely livid with the Green Party. So, like, the Green Party's done for. Like, don't worry about the Green Party, because none of them are going to get elected. Like, the fellow in Cavan is not going to do well at all. And I'm not personally against them, but the Green Party in Cavan is not liked. Like, it's just done for. It's done. It's just done for. The Green Party's just done for. Yeah, but I do, and again, I say this again. I do suggest that people to vote for Val Martin number one if you're in Cavan, or Lester Gordon number two, whatever or Mark Malone or Shane Mulligan too, or Jimmy too. It's up to you, as I say, the people of Cavan Mullen. It's up to you to vote the way. But personally, that's just the way I'm voting. And again, just to emphasize, I'm not agreeing with everything. I'm not an Aintu fanboy that's going to nod me head to everything Aintu does. I've criticized many times Aintu for many things in Aintu. But I still rather them than Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael. And at the end of the day, that's the main, I suppose, reason why I'm voting for Sarah Wiley, because she does have the best chance of getting in. because she could block Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael getting the seat. You know, and that's the only reason why. And again, if you watch the video, I go into more details than here, but there's a lot of other reasons why. And as I said, I've literally went to Sarah Wiley about 50 issues before, and all 50 issues were sorted. Not with me, but other people too, but other people's issues. And there was something always done about it. So that's a good sign too. And if it was, another name two candidate, I wouldn't have voted for them. Simple as that. So that's the only reason why. It's because of the candidate. It's not the party. It's not into its policies. It's the candidate. If that makes any sense, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Because if there was other into candidates around the country, I wouldn't be voting for them. It's simple as that. But I do think Sarah Wiley's the pick of them, and that's what I need to say. And it's the best of the whole lot of them in the end too. So that's the only reason why I'm voting to it along with that. There's many other things that go in the detail, I suppose, in the video too. But it's a lot of detail. Yeah, the Green Party are just done for. Like they haven't got a hope in Cavan of getting anything. So they're just done for. Not presidency. No, I'm fine, thanks, Sean. I don't want to go to the presidency. So yeah, just want to talk about speaking about Helen McAtee and bringing in the world. Overcrowding the prisons unstable due to deal with prisoners following the widespread disorder. So this is to do with the Dublin riots, more or less. But long story short, the prisons are already overcrowded, and the problem is in the justice system in this country too. There's too many people who don't pay the TV license in prison, which is a joke. And then the people who murder each other literally get off scot-free. So basically the people that are in prison, a lot of the people that's in prison at the moment shouldn't probably be really there. They should be out in community service or something like that, or pay a fine. But if you didn't pay your TV license, you go to prison. If you have a dodgy box, essentially the prison. If you dared misgender somebody, you'd be sent to prison. But if you killed somebody in the middle of the street, you get off scot-free. So that's the reason why, too, the prison system's overcrowded, because of that. So, and again, this woman has done nothing to help it out, too. So, local council, maybe that's more sounding likely. But I'm sure people get it. Again, as I say, I have a good reason for voting Sarah Wiley, as I say. It's not because I've just all of a sudden become a big N2 fanboy or something like that. I've always criticised N2 for there should be more tougher migration, etc., etc. There's more things that could get into. Green Party canvasser, yes, last week. You couldn't tell me. It wasn't very pleasant. I can imagine so. If you said to them, "I'm not voting for you," they get very upset. The Green Party would be like, "Oh, the environment and stuff like that," But we have a private jets, etc., etc. But anyway, I haven't come across the Green Party candidate. Like literally, the only people. Just go back to this. Like literally, the only people that's come around to me is the three Fianna Fáil candidates, not themselves, but people who represented them. That's all I have seen. I've literally seen nobody else on my doorstep. Like literally nobody else has come looking for votes here. So they must be all just afraid to come near me. So I didn't say much to the Fianna Fáil. I did argue with them a bit, but I didn't say much to them because they wouldn't themselves. It wasn't the TDs themselves, so I couldn't argue with them. So I can only argue with them, the people that basically are just delivering the message, basically. If that makes any sense. But I haven't seen literally no Sinn Féin, thankfully. No Sinn Féin is called. No Fine Gael is called. No People Before Profit is called. Independent Ireland's nowhere to be found here too. I don't know where they are. But nobody's called around to me. They must be too afraid of me asking too many questions. Because I kind of did drive the Fianna Fáil ones mad. I kind of did drive them mad, I think. So, but it wasn't. It was nice enough to them. I didn't annoy them too much, but I called them out on some of the bullshit. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, we move on to the other topics. I get through this and then I can chat a bit more. So yeah, my voice is going already. So I talked about this many times before, and particularly this Cara Bowie. I don't know what constituency he is in, or it's in Cadell South. That's answers my question. So this is to do with a person that got chemically exposed to toxins in the Irish Air Corps. This account, and I recommend to look through this account when you have a chance, exposes what the government are trying to hide, and they are trying to hide it. The deaths of 110 members of the Air Corps over the last few years due to basically toxins to do with engines, etc., etc. Because you have to detox engines, etc., etc. So Catterbury is a former member of the armies, and he was the elite. He was one of the elite members of the Defence Forces, the Irish Ranger Wing, which is basically the SAS in Ireland. Uh, and this is a person that the person that's contacted him was exposed to chemical poisoning, basically. And as it says, Catterbury took 2 months to respond later, which is not good enough. So he's just like, he acknowledges, but again, this is the thing. It's not about bringing it up. This is literally, I've been talking about this literally for the last about 3-4 years. Like, when is the appropriate time to raise the next 50 years from time? I will certainly raise this matter with the minister at the appropriate time. Which Christmas? Which Christmas, Carol Barry? Which Christmas? Because this is literally, this account too. Like, it's a long, long time after talking, like years talking about it, nothing was ever done about it. And there was letters sent to the president, there was letters sent to everybody basically in the government, and nothing was ever done about it, and it's all forgotten about. So it's not good enough that it hasn't been acknowledged, even that something has been done, investigation, etc., etc. It just seems to be it just, nobody wants to talk about it. And particularly Catterbury, especially being a former member of the Defence Forces, it should be one of his top priorities that these 110 people's deaths are looked into and given the proper, look over. And the truth is finally found, because it, as I say, it's a huge thing. But again, there's no answers to it. There's nobody willing to ask any questions. And again, I say to any TD or any candidate that's won in the election to bring this up, because I haven't heard one TD or anybody won in the election bring this up. So please do bring it up. Anybody that's watching this, a candidate for whatever party, to bring it up, to mention it in your campaign. Or even on your social media, just to get awareness of it. As it's important to get it out there, because again, it's not been talked about, and it should be talked about, because these 110 people's deaths should be explained and should be found out what happened, because we know what's happened. It's chemical toxin poison, but the state won't admit it. Oh, sorry, I missed a lot of comments. See, I can't scroll up, so I missed a lot. How much is a gallon of milk? Something like it's in the €2 or something. I can't remember. I literally buy milk nearly every day of the week. A gallon. Americans use the word gallon. Like a liter of milk. That's what we call it here. A liter of milk. It'd be about €2, something like that. One something, would it be? Like a basic liter. Yeah. Like it's something like that. I buy milk every day. I don't know. What's Santa bringing you? Hopefully to meet Santa. That's hopefully what Santa's bringing me. After January. So if he can do that, that'd be a good present for Christmas. Yeah, he has to bring the convention center and everything down the chimney. He's going to have some job. But yeah, like hopefully that's the Christmas present. Hopefully all things going well. That's the present, hopefully, Brian. So what should go government? We all know he's a bit of a. I don't know what to say to you, but long story short, if you vote for this fellow, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't vote for this fellow even if I was getting paid to do it. Obviously, first of all, where's the missing children, Wadrick? That's the first question everybody should be asking. Where are the missing children, Wadrick? Because this man is a traitor, like straight up a traitor. He should be nearly charged for treason, to be totally honest at this stage. And so the majority of them. But this is the way I'm talking about this, not because of this video, because we all know he's talking waffle. Like, they better our lives. I don't know that. But it's the fact of the matter, every government minister won't let you comment, And I wonder why, because you look at the comments and we quote, we tweets, etc., etc. People are not like jumping up and down. We elect Roger government to the Dáil. People are saying, get the hell out of the Dáil. We don't want a bit of you. So it's not going well for them, is the narrative. But long story short, I don't think a TD should be allowed to lock the account, like basically to not let anybody comment underneath it. OT does the same. It shouldn't be allowed. If you're a public representative or the public broadcaster, you shouldn't be allowed to do to not let people comment underneath it because people won't agree with him. As I say, 81,000 views, only 68 likes, 81 retweets, but mainly from people that are disagreeing with him. And so it shouldn't be allowed. But I just want to briefly, all the government ministers are doing it, but I just wanted to talk about that one briefly. Yeah, you asked me what I wanted for Christmas, so there you go. But hopefully that can be achieved because I'm not really about it. One treats of it tells you what I know, Sean. See, I buy a few things, when I go into the shop. I don't really look at the price. I just buy the liter of milk, and then go and put the thing on this video on the wardrobe. Yeah, it'd be too much. Like it'd be in the thousands. So that's why they wouldn't do that either. Uh, hymn sheet, yeah, well, it's pretty much it's all waffle, 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 shit, basically. um, yeah, it's just the same old, basically. Um, yeah, Sean probably would be about right. Yeah, he would be right about that. See, what I do is I just go into the shop, get the milk, and get a few other things. If that makes any sense. Like Sean probably looks at the price. Imagine the cavan man doesn't look at the price of milk. He just buys it and just be done with it. Like when I go into a shop, I just want to be done with going into the shop and be out. If that makes any sense. I don't like kind of hanging around, just waiting around, looking at prices. I just buy the thing and go, Like usually when I go into the shop, I'm getting a few things. I'm not just getting a liter of milk. I'm getting a few things. If that makes any sense. Anyway. So this is to do with the nursing home in the town there. So it was to do with the inspection, just to say. And they found that it was very bad in the like the fire was so what would you call fire doors, etc. Upgrades to the fire doors, etc. wouldn't good. So it's a very damning thing. It's not as bad as it probably could be, but long story short, they're giving out about the fire safety, and so rightly so, because again, if there was a fire in this nursing home, a lot of these people are elderly people that have bad mobility, etc. If there was a fire, God forbid, it would end very badly. But thankfully, it seems like it's going to be addressed, thankfully. But the staff was given a good compliment. And again, just to give my own personal take for a second on this, I used to go in to visit a woman. There was a woman from the village here when I was growing up. She went into the nursing home because the family basically couldn't care for it, so they put her in the nursing home. And I used to go in and visit. Unfortunately, the woman has passed away long ago now. This is when I was very young, about 10 now. So maybe 11 years ago at this stage. But yeah, the staff were always very caring, etc. They were looked after well. But it's just the fire safety. So hopefully this will be addressed soon. But yeah, I just want to praise the staff because even when I was there too, at that time, they were always very friendly and very accommodating. Yeah, well, that'd be handy too. If you could get me that too, it'd be handy. Well, hopefully so, Brian. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. A farm, yeah, I did from a farm, 2 liter, 4 liter. Yes. Walk around 2 hours. So this is to do with the disappeared. So this poor man has been disappeared for 50 years, 52 years in that. Like during the troubles, etc. So he's missing for 52 years. So apparently, and again, if this is true, if this man is buried in a family grave in the graveyard, then that means the other disappeared, the people that can't be found, basically, their bodies are probably in the grave that doesn't belong to them. And that's what's happened here. So he's basically in some random grave. So they've found the body. We don't know if it's his yet. But basically, it's pretty much somebody that shouldn't be in the grave, basically. In some random grave that somebody else is in. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's insane. But I hope it is the person, because they were looking for him for 52 years, and there'd be a bit of closure for the family. But they do seem to be very certain that it's the fire fell. But it's a tragedy now. But hopefully they have answers now. Hopefully that he can finally be found. But again, this is just what I'm trying to say is this could be many graves around the country that there were people that disappeared from the IOA, kidnapping them, etc., etc. They were thrown into graves, uh, random graves. That could have happened back in the day, because that's what seems to be the case here. As it just says there, just brings almost 7,000 homes across Cavan and Monaghan are vacant. So that's just way to go today. It's a great service. Yeah, I noticed that too. It's very loud when they're speaking, and they have it on loudspeaker, so it's very loud. Um, see what I do when I go into public transport or into that, I don't answer the phone. I turn it off if somebody's ringing me. I wait until I get off the bus because I just deem it as manners. You don't talk, especially in the supermarket, unless it's extremely important. The majority of the time, I ring when I get outside if somebody rang me. Um, that's the I deem it as. But again, some people are different. Geez, we're all talking about milk. There's an election, we're all talking about milk. So going back to the debate, I know people like last night, the three amigos. It was all just waffle. But the one thing I will say, Mary Lou McDonald particularly, she was asked a simple question: where's she going to get the builders to build the 90,000 homes she said she's going to build? And she couldn't answer it. She didn't know where she's going to get these people to build the houses. So that's great. So, but she didn't answer. She just waffled on. The same with this fellow. He waffled on. The whole lot was just waffle. Nothing of any addition, basically. Just talking shit, basically. No, just answer. Just answer shit. Just talking shit. And unfortunately, the sad reality is, and this is the thing I have to say, and this is the truth, that unfortunately, regardless if take for example the Irish Freedom Party get 10 seats, regardless if Aintree got 10 seats too. Unfortunately, these are the three biggest parties in the state. One of them will have to be in government, basically. So either Fianna Fáil be in government with, take for example, the Labour Party, or as I say, maybe Independent On will go in with them. Or Sinn Féin to go in with the Labour Party, God forbid, before profit, the Social Democrats. So basically, what I'm trying to say, one of these people are going to be the Taoiseach again, basically. Sadly, it seems to be. I don't think there's any way stopping it. I don't see any other way of doing it. At the moment. Maybe it could happen. I don't know. But unfortunately, I do think one of these people will be Taoiseach, unfortunately. I could be wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but it does seem to be it. Hello, I can't pronounce it. Thank you. I have to make tea. No bother. Make your tea. I should have a cup of tea here too. Yeah, like Argentina's inflation went down a good bit. Yeah, they got rid of so many civil servants, etc., etc. It went down a good bit. Yeah. We're all talking about Avamo, etc. Why isn't petrol and diesel? Yeah, it's going to go up soon. Yeah, it's going to go up again soon. It will go up again, petrol and diesel. I know. So this is to do what I talked about it yesterday in the video. So Fine Gael contacted OT to try and probably take down this clip, the viral clip of him walking away from a care walk and basically showing utter disrespect. So obviously Fine Gael didn't want this, and Simon House didn't want OT to show it and tried to stop it from happening. Now, in fairness to OT, they showed a bit of it. They didn't show it all, but they only showed a few seconds of it. And basically said, "Oh, the Taoiseach was tired. He was tired. He was walking too hard, and that what happened." But long story short, everybody can see through it. But yeah, the funniest thing about it was that Simon House, along with Pascal Donoghue, admitted that they were in touch with OT nearly every day about different things. So they're telling OT what to do and what not to say, and who to call far right and who to call extremist, who to do this and who to do that. So basically, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil to control an OT, basically. So basically, it's the puppet show, basically, what I'm trying to say. OT only told what to say and when to say it, when the government telling them to do it. So it's pretty much, they're told what to say and what to do. It's pretty much like North Korea TV, the Rachel Lindsay. It's pretty much state propaganda, pretty much. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you. I know. I acknowledge that. I can't pronounce your name, but thank you, Anna. So somebody asked me a few weeks ago, came into the channel here and asked me about this. So as far as I know, no TD that's one of the moment has talked about this. So this is to do with gold, mining gold in Wed Hills. And Kevin, I talked about it recently. Uh, so my stats on this, I know I'm not a candidate, but my stats on this, if the people of this area, Wed Hills, don't want people like a private company from Australia coming up here to mine gold, because that's what this is literally not an Irish company, or it's not a company from Cavan, and they're not going to employ local people, take for example, then they shouldn't do it. And again, the people of Wed Hills don't want it anyway, because it makes the ground unstable, etc., etc. There's all different kinds of concerns too in relation to different things, the environment, the impact on the environment, etc., etc., and the water source too, because there's a water thing, like a plant, like sewage plant and stuff like that, only down the road from it. So I get what I get the government, like the people what house is concerned, and particularly again, the money will not go to Westlands, unfortunately. The money's going to go to some Australian person that has it. So it's not going into the Irish people's pockets, what I'm trying to say. So I agree with the people in White House, and I do encourage all the candidates that's one of them, Cavan Monaghan, to stand with the people in White House. It shouldn't be happening. It's our resources. It shouldn't be going to Australian people, first of all. It shouldn't be going to an Australian company that's bringing over people from Australia, in my opinion. That's what they're going to do because they're not going to pay an Irish person to do it. So what I'm trying to say, and again, the concerns of the ground, etc., and environment in terms of water, etc., they shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed to go ahead, and that's my opinion. And the people who are winning the elections should stand with the people in Wet Hills, because at the end of the day, it's up to the people of that area what they want to do, what happens in their area. And I think that's the most important thing. We can talk about how much money, hundreds of millions a year worth of gold, is there, but who cares really? It's up to the people. It's up to the people of Wet Hills to decide what happens with that, because they're the people that live there for generations. You know, that's my opinion. So, and I do encourage anybody that's won in the election, if any of them are watching, from Cavan or Monaghan, to speak up about this issue. Um, because the people who's we need something to be done about it, because unfortunately it does look like they're going to just push the people aside, send in the OIC and push them aside and do it anyway, pretty much. Uh, so hopefully they'll be listened to, the people who's, because again, the majority of people in the village, I know a few people I've been talking to, uh, they don't seem to want it. So, and there's no benefit to them. They're not getting money in their back pocket for it. So why should they bring in people from Australia to come and dig for gold, etc., in their backyards, basically? And again, as I say, not even environment, etc. There's no money going to go for the people in Wet Hills. It'd be different if they're going to employ a load of young people from Wet Hills and give them a good paying job, but that's not going to happen. We all know that. Um, so, um, so again, I do suggest to people in Cavan, anybody running for the elections, to speak up about this in Cavan. It's bad. But not even that. As I say too, the money be going to an Australian. It's an Australian company that is getting the rights to mine the gold. And and obviously the environment impact and it make the ground unstable, etc. And the fact that the money won't go into the pockets of the local people, because you know yourself, they bring people from Australia over to work there, and it won't go to the pockets of the local people too. So basically, they'll be giving it away to a foreign company. The money be given away to a foreign company, and there'll be people that's not from Ireland working there, etc. So what's the point in that, really? And again, we're selling our resources away again. So that's insane. Wouldn't surprise me. I said they're getting a few underneath the tables for in terms of passports, So this is the do. I'm sure people probably heard this. So this is a person that was given accommodation in that loan. Basically, the asylum seeker from Zimbabwe. Sorry. So straight away, this is one of the most disgusting things I've probably ever heard, particularly when you're in a position of power. And I always have said this: if you're in a position of power, a guard, a member of the defence force, a politician, when you're in a position of power and authority, you should not abuse that. Simple as that. You shouldn't do it. Simple as that. regardless if she's from Timbuktu, regardless if she's from Cavan or if she's from from Dublin, wherever. Nobody should do this. Simple as that. It's the lowest, and particularly taken from vulnerable people in their 80s and 90s, etc., etc. It's very, particularly coming into the country, getting accommodation, etc., etc. Being let in the first case too. We give this woman a chance to come in to make a new life for herself. We give her a chance, and she's blown it. And to be totally honest, she should be sent home. She shouldn't be sent to prison. She should be sent home and never be allowed back into the country. That should be the thing. She should never be allowed to stay in this country again. And she should be sent home. She should go to prison, obviously, first. I agree with that. But after that, straight away on the plane, goodbye. Never will come back. Because this is despicable. Like, this is a big. I know people say it's for a funeral of a relative, but still, nonetheless, these are elderly citizens that she was entrusted to care of, and she broke that trust. And again, unfortunately, that's a serious thing. Again, the one person who could have stopped this was herself. So that nobody told her to steal it. As I say, Zimbabwe, etc., etc. So there's a lot of burglaries too. Like, as one of the victims said, locked them up for a very long time because they're evil. We were one of the victims. Like, a lot of these people are, as I say here, the house over an elderly man and a woman, 73 to 89, and suffer from severe health problems. Like, imagine doing that. Like, think about that for a second. A man and a woman at 80, in this age, lived their whole life, worked a hard all their life to get that money. And then these people come in and think they're entitled to take it. And particularly looking after them, caring for them. It's a sickening thing. It really, really is. Regardless if they're from Timbuktu or from Ireland. Nobody should do it. I think everybody agree with that. They're not entitled to it. These people worked all their life for it. They shouldn't be doing it. And it goes on and on. But one of the most sickening things you could find is but thankfully, again, they get the money back, the people that had the money still. But they're afraid, they're terrified. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of living in their own house, etc., etc. That's what they've brought on these people. And they don't seem to have much care, we told Lindsay. Like, it goes on and on and on. But hearing about it too, there's a lot of the people that stole from, like, they're afraid to be in their own house. So it's a terrible thing. But they're going to prison for a few years, I know. Like, they should be deported straight away. So as soon as they get out of the prison, straight away on the plane, goodbye. Simple as that. And told never to darken the doors again of this country. And that's as simple as that. One way Swedish company. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The foreign companies, like, they're not even Irish companies. We're different if they're employing. Like, the thing about the one, and I come back to that, it'd be different, say, if they were there and it was a local company, right? It was a local company, and they said, went into the local village there in White Hills, right? Any young lads that want a bit of work, we give them a decent wage. We give them €700 a week to go and mine a bit of gold down the road. That'd be different. But it's the fact of the matter, they're not going to employ any local people. It'd be people from Australia. That Swedish company, people from Sweden coming over to work here. So why would we do that? What's the benefit for the local community? What's the benefit for Ireland too? Just sending the way to, another thing. Yeah, we'll lock them up first of all, because deporting them too, they should face time in prison to think about their actions. But then straight away after that, deport them, send them home. Like, that's the only answer there. But they should go to jail for a while for it, because unfortunately they might just get back in if they're sent home. And they might be told self-deport, etc., etc. So a few months, a few years in jail, teach them some manners, and then we can send them home. Basically, that's what I think. Because that's what the elderly people wanted. You heard that elderly man too. He wants them locked away for a good while. But again, as I say, regardless if they're from Timbuktu, Irish, etc., etc. But again, she was given a chance to come into this country, and she blew it. So, but along with her friends, she blew it. And again, especially being a care worker, looking after an elderly person, them age, in the 70s, 80s, it's unforgivable for anybody to do. Like, again, it's just totally unforgivable. Yeah, like Scandinavian prisons. But see, the thing about Finland, just going by Finland, they have a lot of the majority of prisons are open prison in Finland. There's only 3,000 people in prison in Finland. There's something like 30 something thousand people in prison here. The focus on reforming. So, say for example, you go and rob a shop now in the morning, right, in Finland. You go to prison for a while, but when you're in prison, you get an education. They'll give you a degree. Come out with a degree, and they try and get you back at the good part of life. Basically, over here, you go into prison, you come out of prison, you go back into prison, you go into, it's just an endless cycle. Basically, if that makes any sense. Over in Finland, take for example, what to reform people when they come out to a better person, they're better in society, and it does work. It does work. Because people have college degrees when they come out and can get a college course, get a job, make a life for themselves. Rehabilitation, yeah. And it's a perfect thing. Over here, it's just the cycle keeps repeating. I know a few people in the town there. They're in prison, in and out of prison every fucking year, basically. Like, they're in it for a few months. They were in it for 3 months recently. And now they're back out again. And in a few months' time, they're back for another 3 months. Like, it just keeps going and going and going, basically, if that makes sense. Nothing's ever done about it. But, yeah, in Finland, the focus on that. But that's why, people don't reoffend. The reoffending rate in Finland is very low. But people who do break the law, take, for example, rapes and stuff like that, never let out again. They're locked away for good. So, well, comparing the numbers, only about 3,000 to, it's nearly 30 or 40,000 people in prison. There's something very wrong in society here, in terms of that, and particularly rehabilitation. A lot of that could happen if there was a will to do it. Adrian, hello, Shawnee, how are you doing? Keep voting for open, yeah. Pretty much, unfortunately, I do think a lot of people will vote for Reform Fine Gael. Maybe not as much, maybe as they did before, but, we see what happens, I suppose. But they're definitely not getting as much support as they used to. And they're definitely getting an eating on the streets nowadays. Yeah, like small crimes, not talking about murders and stuff like that, but for small basic things, robbing a few stuff in the shop, etc., etc. Things like that, small crimes. Not like killing somebody and stuff. You should never get out. But small things like that. But that's what there should be done in the prison system here. Because again, there's far too many people in the prison system here that shouldn't probably be in prison. In terms of not paying the TV license, etc., etc., dodgy boxes. Them kind of things, it doesn't warrant a prison sentence. Whatever about a fine or community service, that's reasonable enough. Or take, for example, small minor crimes. It should be community service or, a fine. But particularly community service, I think it'd be better. Yeah, but that's happening all the time. Particularly if, again, the guard breaks the law. It's more, they should be held to a higher standard than the member of the public. I'm sure you would agree. Because, again, you're in a position of trust and authority. And the penalty should be more severe, especially if somebody's doing something like that. Particularly getting money under the table like that, because that's the only reason why somebody would do that. Very, very harsh sentences have to come on that. What's a TV license? Basically for the state broadcast, the OT. For if you have a TV, you have to pay it. For Trump's deportation cells. Yeah, well, that's another thing too. I only thought about that recently too. Like, a lot of them from the United States will probably come here, like Mexicans, etc., etc. They might. I don't know. We see what happens. But you could be right in that, and I did think about that recently too. But I suppose we'll wait and see what happens. I suppose there's no point panicking about it yet. We have to see what happens first, I suppose. So we see. We see what kind of government too, because obviously we'll wait and see what kind of government gets in too. Yeah. But hopefully not. Hopefully there's not a big surge of people coming from the United States, Mexico, take for example, or from Canada, like from Mexico and the Latin American countries. Yeah, to own a TV, you need a TV license. Yeah, which is the right way too. But pretty much, you have to pay it because it's R3. Even though it goes the other way, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But we see what happens anyway. I suppose in that regard. safer than the US, yeah. But unfortunately, again, some parts of Mexico probably would be safer than Dublin at the moment. Like hearing a few people talk, there was a person interviewing people on the streets of Dublin the other day, and I heard it on YouTube. They've done a video on YouTube and put it up, and it's pretty stark. The majority of people walking around the streets of Dublin don't feel safe. Like they want to get out of Dublin as quick as possible, tourists and stuff like that. So it's a pretty bad look for the country. You know what I'm saying? It's not that good looking, basically, if that makes some sense. So the last thing we'll talk about tonight, we can chat among ourselves for a few minutes. We'll be back tomorrow night, so we can chat among ourselves. Just to say, like this person's right. I forgot about this at the time. The government spent 320,000 on the pins. You remember these pins for COVID? And 2 million of them. And nobody probably wear these. I never actually tried a lot of people wearing them back during that time. But the vast majority of them were just thrown in the bin. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out of them 300,000, maybe only 10,000 were used. Like nobody ever. What's the way with this? Not except of waste of money. Now we can chat among ourselves. How does that sound? Oh, a crocodile, yes. It's crazy. But in theory, the dog license, should go to making sure stuff like that. Like the dog bins, etc. Technically. That's what the money goes to, technically. But yeah, it's quite stupid now, to be honest. Sounds cheap, yeah. But to think about this, isn't it the price of a bicycle shed? So 300,000. If you put add on 350,000, you have a bicycle shed. So they could get a whole new bicycle shed for that. So imagine that we can get a bicycle shed in Cavan for that price. So so think about the bicycle sheds. So don't give them any ideas that they might come out with 14 and 4 and 14 here. Countdown stream Saturday. I don't think so. But we will be live. We'll be talking a lot about everything. Like this is cope. like just seeing this here, it's cope. Like this is. I think they're coping. Is this to do with the leaders' debate yesterday? It is. Right. Oh, I know. In theory, yeah. In theory of the stuff, yeah. So this is from the leaders' debate. So this is from Ireland votes. So I don't know how reliable this is, but it's from the independent.ie, the independent Irish Independent. Sorry, I couldn't speak. Apparently, Micheál Martin done the best. Now, to be totally honest, all of them were fucking shit. To be totally honest, all of them didn't know their ass from the elbow and couldn't answer questions their life depended on it. But long story short, all these three people are no addition to anybody, basically. But yeah, Simon Harris, that interaction with the woman really fucked him. Let's put that way. Something fierce. Even though Mary McDonald's not much better, Micheál Martin's definitely not much better. The whole lot of them are no good. No addition. So just wanted to show you that. Just seen that. Simon Harris is my hero. Don't know what to say to you about that, but I hate to break it to you. You wouldn't want to meet Simon Harris, so he could run away from you, and you never find him again. Like you wouldn't want to meet your hero. That's what I'm trying to say, because he might not talk to you. He'd be gone like the shot. I'm sure you're only joking, because I couldn't imagine. I never met a man in my life that could say, "Oh, I actually think Simon Harris is the best man ever." Said no one, and nobody said that about Liam Fark or Micheál Martin or the last 20 Taoiseachs. Well, not the last 20. I'm being a bit unfair maybe with that. The last 10 Taoiseachs. Charlie High. No, we don't want Charlie High because he was probably the biggest crook of them all. And Bertie too were bigger crooks. The whole lot of them were crooks. Like Charlie High was one of the biggest crooks in the country. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether he'd be as bad as them. I suppose you could argue that point, but a funny time actually when I was in the house in Hooked one. I was in the president's house back. Oh, it's a good while ago. But we were up in Dublin one time. I would, you know, the way you can go to the president house in Hooked one for free on a Saturday. Basically, you get a tour of house in Hooked one. I did that one year when I was younger with my mother. Anyway, we went into house in Hooked one, but the funny story related to this. We went into house in Hooked one, right? And you know the big pictures on the wall in the state dining room, etc., etc. We were there. And my mother had to ask, because all the former presidents, Sean T. O'Kerry, Eamon De Valera, etc., on the wall, Mary McAleese, Stephen Sapper too, all the former presidents, you know. And she asked, "Where's Charlie Haughey?" You know, she forgot that, you know, she mixed up the Taoiseach and the president. So she asked, "Where's Charlie Haughey?" on the wall of House Nuked one. You know, like she forgot herself that it was that, you know, the presidents on the wall, the pictures with the president, like the former presidents, Eamon De Valera, Sean T. O'Kelly, etc. Charles, what can I think Edward Charles, etc., etc. So she thought Charlie Haughey should be on the wall because she thought he was the president back in the day. But she mixed it up obviously with the Taoiseach because it was Taoiseach. But there was a funny story just when you're saying about that. So if you ever know Nuke the one again, say ask what's Charlie Haughey. You don't need a dog license. Yeah, dress up as a lion. Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Hillary, yeah, President Hillary and stuff. Yeah, I can't think of the rest of it. There's other presidents. There's 10 presidents. There's not that many presidents in Irish history because there's only 1938 when Douglas Hyde too was the first president of the Irish Republic. Etc. But you know, they were the pictures on the wall. Is it funny enough? Actually, in the Finnish Parliament, thinking back at it, like the bus, you know, the bus. You know the bus, like the bus was these yokes. Like when I was in the Finnish Parliament, this is Patrick Pios. But you know the bus, like they have along, even though it's nuked one, have the faces of the former presidents along the hallways. In the Finnish Parliament, it wasn't the prime ministers; it was the presidents. I was surprised they didn't have a bus of the prime ministers. It was only the presidents of Ireland they had. If that makes any sense, I don't know why that is, but you know. But yeah, this is a heavy hook. Like if I drop this, it'll go through the whole clothes. I'll just put it there for the moment. Yeah, tell you back. Oh no, well, I don't know who's worse. To be honest, I suppose you have to argue who's worse. Yeah, well, there was no bus, there was no pictures of Sana, etc., or anything in the Finnish Parliament. Like, there's nothing to do with the prime ministers. It's all the presidents' pictures, etc. So I don't know why there's no prime ministers ones in the Parliament House of Finland. I don't know. Also, another thing that was very weird to me, in every room really in the Parliament, in the majority, even the committee rooms, I suppose you would call them, they had pictures of Alexander Stubbs, the president of Finland. So that's the thing common in Finland. Hello, Jared. How are you doing? Man, is local god person. It's strong. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I suppose the people in the area don't agree with it. Like the people I've talked to in Wet Hills, the two people I know, there's not for they're not in favour for the all, and they literally live probably a few meters away from it, like down the street, and they're not fond of it. And again, it's their area, and I suppose it's up to them to decide, you know, what happens in their area, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect them too, because they're only living down the road. So I suppose again, it's not really for me to judge, but again, I'm just going by what the people are saying. They want something they don't really want, the majority of people. So that's why I propose too that we have a vote in Red Hills and who wants and who doesn't want it, because that's the only way really to solve it, I think. Because this has been going a good while, basically. This thing, it's been talked about for 2 or 3 years. So I think that's the only way, and whatever the vote is, that's the final solution. Whatever the people in the village think, because it definitely will. Because obviously, be loads of noise, etc., etc. But because it's going to be big, and it's a big enough mining thing they're proposing. He wants to buy a Santa bus. Yeah, of course I do. I really want to. Like, I actually did see about it. You're right, Brian. I did see about it at one stage. Not when I was in Finland, but I did ask somebody that makes bus, but he didn't. He wouldn't. How to put it? He makes kind of singles and stuff like that. He doesn't make politicians. He makes more singles and stuff like that. So, but again, it would have been outrageous, and I mean literally outrageous amount of money to get it done. Like literally outrageous. So that never came to fruition. But I did see about it at one stage. But again, he only does singers, football players, things like that. He doesn't do politicians. But it would be a lot of detail, etc., etc. So, but I didn't want to do it because where would I put it? I suppose that's the next thing. But it would have been an insane amount of money just to have a post, and I mean literally eye watering, like insane. Oh, that would have been a fine bus. Yes, yeah, it would have been a fine bus, but it would have been far too much. It generally would have been far too much. I think he said, because it would be bigger than this too. It would be a lot. It would have been a lot. Like it would have been 10,000 up to 15,000. But like it generally wouldn't, because again he puts a lot of detail. Like that's what I'm saying. So it would be a lot of money because it would have been far bigger than this, and it would have been a lot of detail if he did do it. But he wasn't that keen on doing it anyway. Even if I did pay for it, he wasn't that keen because he only does football players and singles, things like that. He doesn't do politicians. So, but it would have been insane. But that's what you would pay to get a commission, because I would have had to commission it. He didn't have one made or anything. I would have had to get it commissioned. Is that the poultry peels? Yeah, yeah. It's a very heavy thing. Like it is very, very heavy. This, but it would have. That how much that would have cost around that, because it would have took him a long, long time to do it. Because that's what he charges for the football ones too, because it's a lot of money too. Yeah, there's one of Michael Collins that's not as big as this, but this is heavy. I think that was 300 or 400. I think I bought that one. Yeah, I know they're from Australia. Yeah, I would rather an Irish company. I said it before. I rather an Irish company, but again, I suppose it's up to the people in the area. But I'm sure you get where I'm coming from. It'd be different too. I don't think they would employ local people too. It'd be different if they said to the young lads in Wet Hills, "There, here, there's 3 or 4 young lads that don't have a job. We give them a good wage doing it." It'd be all people from probably Australia coming over from to work there, or it'd be people from asylum seekers, etc., etc. I don't think it'd be local people. Because I didn't even hear about them saying we're going to employ a few local people. It'd be different maybe then, because they'd be literally putting money into people's pockets, like local people, local men's pockets, etc. But I don't think they will. So that's my other issue with it. I could be wrong with that. They might do it, they might not. I don't know. But I'm only saying there's a lot of debate around it in Red Hills. As I say, I know 2 people from there that are not fond of it at all. They don't see any benefit for them, because they're only down the road from it. That's the thing too. So I think they're right too, and I agree with them. I don't really see much benefit for the general area of Wet Hills. It'd be different if there was something going to be, if there was some benefit for them, if that makes any sense. But I don't think there's any benefit. As far as I know, but I could be wrong. They might give them a few €100. They might give them a few thousand for the inconvenience. I don't know. I suppose we wait and see. But what I would suggest they should do is to have a vote. Oh, we wouldn't wet for sorry. Conway's bits. Yeah, see, there's a lot of mining and stuff around the country. It's hard to keep track. As somebody said earlier on about this in Mead, there's a Swedish crowd mining. It's a complicated enough thing, I suppose, mining too in a way. But there's loads of mining on the other side of the country too. Like a lot of mining everywhere, basically. Like Ireland's full of resources. That's what I'm trying to say too. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's up to the people who had to decide. But I do think they should have the final say. I don't think it's up to any developer crowd who went in that. So I'm just giving I'm just giving my take just to say, uh, just to mention because I don't think it's getting enough talked about really. And I suppose the discussion has to be there first, like in Cavan in general, about it, and particularly with obviously with the election coming up too. Like the Molly Malone, yes, it might. We'll get a petition, yeah, to get the Santa bananas. No Santa bananas. We don't want any Santa bananas. Um, we get a petition for the Santa statue. Isn't that right? Um, I know. Don't go there now. I don't know. We have to. We have to. We have to. Do something. Any. What? Sorry, going face. You're talking in. Talking double Dutch. Um. Oh, John Waters. I'm combined for a second. Sorry. No, not really. I don't think. Where does baking soda come from? Asking all the questions here. It's all a conspiracy theory. Exactly. It's all your imagination and a conspiracy theory. It's the two put together. It's the worst kind of thing. These far white people. Of course. Yeah, I was confused there for a second myself too. I'm having a brain fit. See, I can talk for a few minutes and then I have a brain fit, and my brain just rolls over and dies. But yeah, just in relation to the thing in January, I know people probably don't give a shit, but just in relation to that, like to put it lightly, it's generally insane. Like I wouldn't recommend anybody go to Dublin on holidays because literally for 3 days for a hotel in Dublin, it's the price of turnips. Like it generally is. Like it's insane amount of money for 3 days for the thing. Like I haven't paid for all that now, but it's very expensive. That's what I. No, that one's stuff short. Like imagine somebody from Dublin, like from Timbuktu, not Timbuktu, but say for example from America or Canada or something, like coming to Dublin for as a tourist to spend money. Imagine trying to spend 2 weeks. Like I'm not even going to say the price, if I say it eventually, but I dread the take. I shudder the take of it. Because you'd be cheaper going to Helsinki. You generally would. At this stage, you'd be better off getting on a plane and going to Helsinki. Because the price of the hotel, I don't know what to say to you, but it's something. I'm just laughing away to myself because it is a laugh. The price of the hotel, for 3 nights, it's insane. My own city. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to really going up to Dublin with Italian say. But I go for that. But straight away, as soon as it's finished, they'll be off back to Cavan. Well, sorry, not back. It's up to Cavan. Up to Cavan. Off back up to Cavan. So I don't think you see me much time. But the only reason why I have to go is really have to go. Unfortunately, it's too bad it's not in the country. But anyway. Yeah, asking me. I don't know. There's loads of good places around Ireland. The Iron Islands is a good call, I suppose, too. If you would like to go to the Iron Islands. But unfortunately, I have to go because I'm going to a conference, Johnny, in Dublin, so I have to go. And it's a 2-day conference and stuff, so I have no choice. But because it's early enough in the mornings. And it'd be just far too early. Like, you'd be leaving Cavan, and I would have to get the bus up too. So that's the other thing. So I'd be leaving Cavan far too early in the morning to get up. It's just be far too early. It's better just to stay over instead of running up and down. Oh, just weapons. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. No, because it is insane. For 3 nights, it is insane. And I'm only going up the road. Really. I wouldn't want to spend. Let's put it this: I wouldn't want to spend 2 weeks or a week there. As a tourist, because it is generally a whip off. To be totally honest. Like, literally in Helsinki, it was a bit less than that. It was deal, but still wasn't as deal as this. And it's nothing too fancy, Like, I wouldn't mind if it was, going into house and or something like that. But it's, I talk about the event after the event is all said and done. I say about it. You know, yeah, the money simple is a bit fucked on the keyboards. I'm not blaming you for that because it's just a bit fucked. Slovakia, yeah. Well, it's in the European Union, isn't it? Yeah, so you'd be fine enough to go there. You wouldn't need a visa or anything. We'd probably go for another 10 minutes or so anyway, and that'd be good enough for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night anyway to talk about more. We'll probably go in debt and all that stuff. Where did you get a license? A fishing license? CJ reference. So the polls at the moment, looking at it's suggesting that Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, and Fine Gael are basically 20% each as support, public support, which I think is bullshit. To be totally honest, but we see what happens, I suppose. I don't know. It could be wrong, could be right. Don't know. GTS Andres, yeah. Like, if he bumps into a pedestrian car, he's like, "Where'd you get your license? What license do you have? A fishing license?" I think something like that. Or it's either that he got in the cereal box. Thanks. No bother, Johnny. Thank you. We'll be here for another few minutes anyway. We're not going yet. Get a free fishing license. Fish. Yeah, so I'll show you. I don't know. Did I show you this already? I probably did. But at the moment, they're suggesting. So I don't know if they show this, but yeah. So pretty much, this is the poll at the moment. What it's suggesting. So it's the suggestion Fianna Fáil on 21%. Now I don't believe this. I don't believe you. I don't believe you too. That the Social Democrats are getting 6% more than into. Where is the smaller parties like the National Alliance, etc., etc., and the Irish Freedom Party and stuff? They should be probably including this too, just so we can get a fair view of everything. But yeah, pretty much, I don't know. If this is white, the electorate is going to be very split. So what could happen is the three parties go in together, which would be the worst possible outcome. Because everything is just, I don't know. So the two parties go, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael go in together again. Because again, there's no way with these numbers here, there's no way stopping them. If this is white, hopefully it's not right, but unfortunately it seems to be happening. But independents are going to do very well. This is the thing. It's not counting independents, but Independents are going to do very well. The only Joe is going to do well in this election. Yeah, I don't like remember in the election, the US election just recently. Um, do you remember they were like Donald Trump and Kamala Harris basically neck and neck? Basically, there's no really anybody in the lead. Well, that didn't work out. Donald Trump kind of went away with it in a lot of places. In some places, she done well enough, but in a lot of places, Donald Trump went away with it, and the media was saying, and I even believe the two because America's that divided at the moment, I suppose. Uh, yeah, well, no, at the time, I didn't really know what could happen because America is a divided place. Like, not many people can agree on many things. But obviously now it's a landslide. But before that, back during Joe Biden said America was a divided place. Um, but it turned out I was wrong because I didn't know who really could win. There actually could have went either way really at the time. So that's why I didn't say. But I was hoping that Don Trump would win, but I didn't know at the time. I suppose this country is divided too. I suppose at the moment. Both literally, quite literally were divided and spiritually divided in a way. Substacks, yeah, I don't get these Substacks, etc., etc. I don't get them all. See, I'm just your basic YouTuber, you know. Um, like I could go onto other channels, like other things and stuff like BitChute. Like I do have a BitChute channel, but I don't do much with any other channels but YouTube. What do you laugh? I'm just laughing at myself, I suppose. It's not good to laugh. I'm like Kamala Harris just laughing. Like it's good to laugh. It's better than crying, you know. No, I'm just thinking of the media, etc., etc. It's quite funny just laughing at the media a bit. Uh, yeah, like Polish people are not that bad. No, I'm not like I know a few Polish people myself. They're not that bad. Um, not the worst. Majority are very friendly. Majority are walk away and they don't cause any issues. Same with Lithuanians. I know a few Lithuanians. They're not the biggest problem. The only really problem is with a few of them is they overstay sometimes the visas or the work permits, or whatever. Like the after the European Union's time, they can come here for a certain few months and then have to apply for residency. Yeah, I think that's what Substack really is. It's just for people who put it off, stuff like that. Like I could go wild to give out on YouTube and stuff, but I rather just I'm more happier on YouTube and stuff like that. Just chilling, etc., etc. Um, you know, yeah, like an album was spiritually divided and actually divided by the six counties. So it's pretty much an actual divide. Sound like a shino. But no, it is the true fact. Yeah, well, clearly now a lot of them do know. But before, during Joe Biden's etc., the people divided, and I suppose still in a way a lot of people in America are divided, but not as much as they used to. If that makes any sense. I'm sure you understand that too. Um, because obviously the Republicans basically control all seats in Congress, and no, not all seats, but the majority of Congress, the majority of the Senate, the presidency, landslide pretty much. Yeah, and not pretty much it is. It is. We chill out for another 10 minutes, and then that'll be good enough for tonight, I say. So, yep. Oh, let me see something. So, yeah. So everybody knows. Just ask this random question, I suppose. I should probably ask at the beginning of the stream, but everybody knows who they're going to vote for. Like, I'm not saying I'm forcing you to vote, but now the way I said it, no. But everybody kind of has an idea who they're voting for. Like, nobody's just undecided. If that makes any sense. Is anybody undecided more or less? That's the way I probably should phrase it. Like everybody knows who they're going to vote for. No, has an idea. The expo, the couch set, though. No, I don't think it'll be at the couch set though. It might turn into a rampage if it did. Not for me, but I wouldn't be that fond of because the local media will be there, they'll cry and they'll be upset. And not to mention, I probably asked some hard questions to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, and it wouldn't go well. Basically, I'd be thrown out. That's what I'm trying to say. So I wouldn't last 5 minutes. Basically, what I'm trying to say. I ask a tough question to one of the Fine Gael or the Shinos, and that'd be the end of me. So I don't think that's a good idea. On the final order, yeah, the order is the problem. See, with me too, the order was the problem. Like I didn't know. Like I knew it was going to give Val Martin a very high vote. I knew about less to go, but I didn't know whether to put Mark Malloy or Shane Mulligan. I didn't know, so I put it randomly into a generator, really. Like not the what they call it, the wheel of names. Whichever name came out first, I picked that one. So Mark Malloy got number 4, and Shane got number 5. See, it's hard to know exactly which way to put it. Oh, don't tell them how to vote. No, let them decide for themselves. You don't tell them. I'm sure they realize what's happening, etc., etc. Not undecided, pure, but it's been. You know where you know what you're doing, innit? You know where you're going. Had 3 votes, yeah. Oh, we still have 2 votes, don't you? Well, Sinn Féin, yeah. Sinn Féin, what's the particular Polish people in the European Union, like European nations, they watch you basically when you turn up to Ireland from Poland, take for example. You don't need a work visa, etc., for a few months, but they watch the register you. So basically, people from Eastern Europe, in the European Union, they have to come and register to stay in the country. So that's what Sinn Féin wanted to do. Even though the problem is people from Georgia, Albania, etc., etc., and Nigeria, because Nigeria places outside the European Union. That's the problem. But Sinn Féin just what's the kind of deal with to push the problem, try and deal with something else instead of dealing with the actual problem. Basically, it's kind of just a distraction. Pretty much that's what they're trying to do. Really, they're not addressing the main problem. They're addressing maybe a small problem that of some Polish people staying without a visa when the work visa expires. It did happen, as I said to you before, a few times I've heard of. But in the majority of cases, they do follow the law. Jesus, it's very foggy out there. I can barely see across the other side of the road because that's how bad it is, foggy. Yeah, you're in Wicklow after, I know, some Wicklow somewhere. You'll be voting for you'll be voting for Simon Harris and Stephen Donnelly. Number 1, Simon Harris. Who's going to do that now? Show me the man that's going to give Simon Harris number 1. Because I don't think we can find him. Yeah, it was dangerous too. It's totally dangerous. There was a bad crash up in Virginia direction. I just seen that earlier on. There's a bad crash up that direction. Looks pretty serious. See, the worst thing is you can't see where you're going to. And God forbid somebody's dressed in black or something like that walking. Good God, they'll be dead. There'll be a few people probably knocked down and killed tonight because they're not wearing reflector jackets, etc., etc. So yeah, if you're going out tonight or tomorrow morning early enough, please do wear some kind of reflector because it improves your chances of not being hit. Because it's the basic thing, I suppose. Hello, Robert. Who? Which? What? So I don't know many people up from Virginia now, and I'm way far away from Virginia. I don't know many people in Virginia, uh, so I probably wouldn't know. I have to say I don't know. Not off the top of my head now, so. But I hope you're doing well, Robert, and I hope you're doing well. Um, but yeah, no, it's quite a bad accident up that direction of Virginia this evening. Hopefully everybody's okay. It does seem to be bad enough, but again, it's the visibility on the roads. And then again, Virginia's a nightmare to get through and to get up to Dublin. It's chock blocked. So somebody probably crashed into somebody. It is the bad conditions on the road, and it's freezing too. So just to say, anybody going early morning to walk in the morning, be careful on the roads. Because it will probably be slippy and to be the fog. Would that fog will clear? It'll take half of the day tomorrow to clear. Yeah, like it's off at the moment. Like I can barely see across the other side of the street. So imagine if you were in a car, even though you might have your headlights, but you still wouldn't see much. And God forbid again somebody walked out in front of you all in black, you're pretty much dead. There's nothing really. There's nothing really to save you. If you're not wearing a reflector, you're gone. That's the sad thing. With direct democracy. No, I think the system works here. Now, whatever about I think you're talking about whoever gets the most votes gets in, like something like in the UK. Like the way it goes here, transfers, etc., etc. I don't know about that. It kind of favors smaller, like in theory, it favors the smaller person. It gives them a chance. But I do think, like the way they do it in Finland, whoever comes first, should get in. Regardless of what number they get, whoever gets the highest votes gets in. Like they do that in Finland. I suppose it can work either way, I suppose. But I do think the system we have here at the moment is fair enough in terms of for the smaller person transfers, etc., etc. But I don't know what one will work the best. To be honest, I suppose it's up to the Irish people which one they think is the best. No, I mean when you have politicians representing the people instead of the people voting on every direct issue. Oh, you mean like people voting on every issue? Well, I think that's a no-brainer too, because again, you elect the politician to speak for you, the people of Ireland. And I do think the politicians should be asking, like doing small elections kind of things, to ask the people. Take, for example, the hate speech bill is a great example. To ask the people, take, for example, your TD for Cavan and Monaghan, you ask the people of Cavan and Monaghan, to do a poll, say, for example, at say, I don't know, some part of the county, and get an opinion from the locals, I suppose, and what they take. Like I do think that's a no-brainer really in that way. But I do think, we just going back to it, I know it might not be asking the question directly on it, but just to go back to it, like particularly something that's very significant, like the hate speech, but the EU Migration Pact, things of that significance should be directly voted in by the people. At least then, at the end of the day, we can say the people voted for it, instead of the politicians. Because the majority of people we all know would vote against the EU Migration Pact. They would, 100%. The majority of Irish people, probably 80%, would vote against it. And that's why they wouldn't want to have it, because it wouldn't pass. And the same with the hate speech bill, wouldn't pass. So that's why they didn't. And the same with this court in the European Parliament, they do a referendum on that. They're going to have to have it sooner or later. but they didn't want to do it after the disaster in February. They were going to do an election along with the local town election, but that didn't come to fruition because they knew they were going to be trashed into the next century. But I don't know if I'm answering your question right. I might be not answering it right. See, the worst thing with dyslexia, my dyslexia's got worse, I think. Like in reading and stuff like that, it's got worse over time, to be totally honest. And my understanding, I suppose, my thoughts of what I'm reading in front of me, it's got worse. Like I have to get one of them pens that I can just, it's a thing for dyslexic people. I should have got it a long time ago. Like you put it up to a piece of paper, take the sap, and it reads it for you. I should have something like that. I should generally get something like that because I should have got it long ago. Because it'd be so helpful if I had something like that. Oh, we definitely will get a minimum. Yeah, just going to your point, Sean. We definitely get a minimum, I say, of at least 4 people in him. Now, I do think, as I say, I do think Gavin Pepper has a good chance. He does have a good chance. And I do think Patrick Quinlan has a good chance. Maybe Derek below too. I suppose it depends on which way it goes down there. But they have a good chance. And I think a few other people have a good chance. And I think Falmon has a good chance. So we see what happens. And a few other places too. There's many other places. But it's so hard to keep up with everything. But I do think we have, we definitely will get 2, like without a question, we get 2 or 3 in them. And maybe 4. But I don't think we get more than that. Maybe we will. Hopefully we do. But I don't think we'll get, say, to example, 15, 20. I don't think that's maybe possible. We could. I'm not saying it's impossible. There's a chance. But I don't know. I simply don't know. In some areas they do good, in some areas they won't do good. It's hard to know. That makes sense. As we won't know. But definitely they will gain seats somewhere in the door. Yeah, like that's what I think. I don't know Stevens too. Yeah, man. Like he probably will get into it because again they're already councillors. The good thing about it when you're already a sitting councillor, you have a few votes already saved. That makes sense. That's what my point in that one. But we'll see. Yeah, so we see what happens. Now, yeah, there's other candidates too, but I'll be literally here forever. But on, read out loud. Yeah, I should get something like that. Like it'd be handy for something like that. But I think did I answer it okay? Like I probably was missing a bit of it. Like sometimes you have to say it to me a few times for me to click in my head. If that makes any sense to what I'm saying, like what I'm reading, I suppose. But I do think I answered some of it anyway. I hope I did anyway, because I don't mean to not answer it. I didn't answer the way, like, to rest it. Well, how would you put it? I might have misunderstood it, I suppose. That's the way you would phrase it. Glenn Miller, yeah, I forgot about that too. But I do think Patrick Quinlan is very likely to get in. Gavin Pepper and stuff like that. I do think they're very likely to get in. I don't know. There's many other places too, I suppose. But just looking at the polls, it does look very good for Gavin Pepper and Patrick Quinn. It does look good in their areas. Yeah, Michael, I don't know about Clare. I actually never heard anything of Clare in this election at all. I don't know what's happening down there. Like in terms of the voters, in terms of what the way it's going, etc., etc. Like it's a weird election. Like last time in 2020, I could tell you for certain in Cavan, Fianna Fáil were going to get 2 seats. In this election, I can't guarantee that Fianna Fáil is going to get 2 seats, if that makes any sense. So it's really all to play for. And I could have guaranteed you last election Fianna Gael had a safe seat. Now that's not here in Cavan. So it's hard to know. It's generally hard to know which way the wind's going to blow. That's just to be totally honest, because I can't predict it. But I will admit I completely forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, go on. Now, hopefully there will be loads to change. Yeah, of course. Hopefully there will be some change. Because that's all we need. We need at least a few, even if it was 5% in the change, to the right way of doing things. It'd be better than nothing. I'm sure you would agree. It'd be better than nothing. Like, I'm sure you would agree, because there's one old woman, as I said the other day in the video, and she's 60, 67, going on to 70, pension age, worked all her life. She just wants to see some change before she goes into the ground. That's all she wants to see, a small bit of change. That's all. And the same with myself. I only want to see some change before I go into the ground too. Some kind of change, even if it's 10%, it's better than nothing. If something's made 10% better, it's better than nothing. It's not that great if it's made but only 10% better, but it's a start. It's the foundation. If you get the foundation, then you can build up. If that makes any sense. If you could kick a country, which one would you book? Kick a country or kick a county? You mean? Sorry. See, that's dyslexia pissing me off. We have to. Well, Leitrim doesn't exist, so it's a part of Cavan. It doesn't exist. I have to say we get with Roscommon. Roscommon's always been a bit snotty. People in Roscommon always think they're better than Cavan people. Actually, sorry. I go back and I completely regret that statement. The money was just west of my cat. No, Monaghan, get rid of Monaghan. They always thought they were better than us. They always keep saying up to Monaghan. There's no up to Monaghan. It should be up to Cavan. We have to get rid of Monaghan. They're no addition. They do nothing to Monaghan. They have nothing to do anyway. It was cooking dinner, no bother, Tony. They get rid of Monaghan, but no addition. They're not a part of Cavan, so we have to get rid of them. See, we should be the only county up here. We should just take over Monaghan and kick it over to Brazil or something like that. Monaghan and Brazil. It's a new part of Brazil. That's what we should do. And Cavan should take the way of Monaghan, and no such thing as Monaghan. We sent it over to Brazil, if that makes any sense. But yeah, definitely the Brazil. No, definitely Monaghan. We should get rid of Monaghan. We had to kick Monaghan away. And then we can I'm not mentioning what I was going to say. Unguide him. Yeah, but that's no harm in doing that. No harm in doing that. Like a lot of young people, particularly, they don't know the candidates and stuff. Like, go up to a young person now in the morning and ask them who's their local TD. As I said to you before, the perfect example during the local election here, when I was out in the street walking that time, before I went to Finland, etc., etc. Maldin Nauken, she was a Fine Gael councillor here for the last 40 years, 30 years. She's retired now. But long story short, she asked this young woman, I told you this before, do you not know me? And this woman's in her 20s with a young child, and she's an Irish woman, and she's lived here all her life, and she never heard of this councillor in her life. And her living here all her life in 20, and this councillor about 30 years on the council, etc., etc. It's insane, But I suppose a lot of people, as I said to you before the other day, the only Joe in Ireland's only worried about surviving day to day. They're not worried about the politicians, etc., etc., etc. And I suppose in the way they're probably right, because why would you annoy yourself, I suppose, over politicians, etc., etc. Because they're all getting well paid and they're all well looked after. They don't have to worry about the next paycheck. No Fianna Gael, no Fianna Fáil, no Fianna Gael, no Sinn Féin, no Green Party. Exactly, that's what we want. But unfortunately, it's not what we want. We're probably going to get some of it anyway, unfortunately. Well, definitely, for 100% sure, the Green Party are gone. Like, they're going to be demolished. Like, they're just gone. The Green Party, they're not going to exist. Whatever with the other parties, they're going to exist. But the Green Party are finished. They're gone. They're done. They're done for. And there's not much loss, to be totally honest with you. Because they brought it on themselves. Hopefully, Eamon Ryan is off somewhere with his bike in the Bahamas or something like that. Jeez, that's nice. That's very nice of you to call somebody that, John. My voice, yeah. Some people just they want to live their lives. They don't want to be listened to politics and stuff. And you wouldn't really blame, especially again, take for that example that young woman there. She has a small child. She'd be more worried about a small child than who's running for the elections. If that makes sense. And I suppose it does make sense. I suppose when you have a small child, why do you give a shit about who is the politician or the local TD or the local councillor? We'll take the shed with him. No, we're not letting him take the shed. He probably bought a shed. What they're probably done for him and Ryan when he's leaving. What they're probably done for us, for the Irish people, to thank him and Ryan for his service. They bought him a bicycle shed for his back garden. So he probably has a nice new bicycle shed out the back of his house. You and I had to pay for that. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past them that they did it as a goodbye present to him and Ryan for his great service to the country. Because what would we do without him and wine? Falling asleep in Dáil Éireann and coming out and making fucking outrageous things, you know. Your woman, you mean Claire Daly and Mick Wallace? Well, they might as well be Russian MEPs. They might as well go and get a job in Russia because they spend more time in Dáil Éireann probably talking about Putin and all this. Like they would spend more time talking about Putin, etc. In the European Parliament, I don't think they ever talked about Ireland at all in the European Parliament. They were too busy on about Russia and stuff like that. Like, they never mentioned Ireland the Woods all of their life they were there in the European Parliament. They never mentioned that Irish people are suffering. The European Union's not working. They're always talking about Russia, Russia, Russia. So they might as well become Russian MEPs, to be totally honest, because they never heard them mention Ireland once in their life when they're all from Europe. There's nobody to vote for. Yeah, but this election, there's somebody to vote for. There's people to vote for. But in fairness to Neil Richmond, he did kind of put the last name in the coffin that time for the family and care referendum. When he was on to not to the night show, it was on Virgin Media. I specifically remember the fact he was talking about family reunification, and he let the cat out of the bag and said, we can bring more people in if we get this passed. So he basically said the quiet part out loud. Like he did say it. Like that's where he put the last nail to the coffin in the family care referendum because he basically said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, well, pretty much they're all rich, they're all multi-millionaires. Like literally, they are actually multi-millionaires. Like you look at the amount of money they get, like it's insane. You and I never see that some money. Like even the local TDs here in Cavan, like the amount of money in land and property, it's insane. As we were just talking about the other night, John Bruton, the former Taoiseach, 15, nearly 16 million worth of assets, etc., etc. It's insane. Yeah, but he let the cat out of the bag. But in fairness, we give him that one. We give him that one. That he finally did something good in his life. He finally said out the quiet part out loud. So we give him that one for that. But only for that. Like I don't know that they have much an effect on the election as a whole, the referendum. But it definitely did convince a few people not to vote for him. Like not to vote. Like the vote yes, it definitely might have convinced. It might have just got about. But in general, anyway, that referendum. Sending a Christmas card during an enjoyable relationship, all that bullshit, all woke, really bullshit. To be totally honest, that's really all it was. And then I can go on and on, but you know yourself. I've said it 100 million times, but there's no talk about that nowadays. It seems to be all forgotten about that referendum. Like if it was passed, you hear the media saying, "Oh, it's a great thing. Oh, such a great thing. We got it passed. All the Irish people are great." But now it didn't go in their favour. They don't mention it. So it's like they don't mention it. So it's funny. I know. Anyway, lads and lassies, I think we have to leave it there for tonight. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a bit of hope. It works. It's about getting people out. It's about getting people out. People like to vote and stuff like that. That's really what it's about, Brian. If you get people hyped up and get people, up in arms, I suppose people will go out and vote. And if you get too many people voting for the right thing, like the right parties, if that makes sense, that's independent, take for example, smaller parties. There's nothing really you can do about it because you've seen in Carfamon, take example, which is a perfect example. For every 8 people, for every one person that voted yes and yes in the care referendum, the family care referendum, 8 people in Cavan voted no. So there was no way they could do anything to really stop that because it was overwhelmingly. 8-1 is such if you win a bookies now, you wouldn't vote for 1% chance of something happening when you have an 8% chance of something, that makes any sense. So they couldn't do anything really because it was that bad, like they really fucked it. No one knows who no tier 2 police. Well, we see what happens and hopefully something good will happen. Hopefully something good will come out of it. Please God. But definitely there'll be a few seats gained by a few independents and nationalists, etc., etc. So that's a good thing. That's the good thing that we said. So I don't know what's going to happen after that. We see, I suppose. Yes, go on. Wait a minute. Who got to go and vote for? Well, I say that people vote for the independents, or vote for the Irish Freedom Party, or vote for the National Alliance, or what they call Liberty Republic. That's what I would say to people to vote for. To be told, and I said it in the videos in Cavan Monaghan. Uh, you can watch my video too in like the Cavan Monaghan video in Cavan Monaghan. But that's what I would say to people to vote for. Like straight up, that's what I would say to vote for. Uh, Again, it's up to you. Anybody here, as I say, if you wish to vote, any other parties is up to you. I don't think so. I don't think he is. I don't. I'm not too sure. Don't hold me to account, but I don't think he is. As far as I know, I haven't heard much about it, but I don't think so. I would have heard something about it if he was. I could be wrong. Don't take that 100% sure. I might look. I look into it and see, but I haven't heard. I would have heard something if I heard, but I don't think he is. Yeah, but the Cavan Monaghan one, yeah, I didn't talk about all the election, but I've talked about who I'm going to vote. But I tell you who. So I'm going to give. Uh, yeah, well, you'll probably watch the video, I suppose. But yeah, so pretty much it's really pretty much far right people. Oh yeah, like yeah, 100%. Don't think I'm going to vote for Fianna Fáil again. Like Sinn Féin, like I'm not going to go and vote Sinn Féin even if they paid me. Uh, and don't be from mention people before profit. Uh, or even independent Ireland. I know some people would vote for independent. As I say, if you wish to vote for independent Ireland, you can. But personally, as I say, what Kieran Maloney did, I won't forgive independent Ireland for that. Simple as that. Unless they change their tone rapidly. Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so I would have probably heard something. I don't know. I try and figure out for you, but I don't think so because I say there would have been something said somewhere. Um, uh, yeah, like I can't vaguely remember anything hearing of anything. I pursue, yeah, yeah, for right, yeah, yes, um, yeah. But at the moment in time, you probably see just last point I suppose before I go. Uh, at the moment, a lot of people on Twitter saying about vote left, transition, etc., etc. So that's we need. We need the right transition. Um, I suppose we need a conservative, I suppose we call it, can transition. Oh yeah, what do you mean by putting it down? So I'm only going to give 6 people a vote. I'm not going to go down. You can give 20 votes if you wanted to. Like in terms of going down the page, there's 20 people on the ballot in Cavan Monaghan, which is the highest ever. But I'm only going to give 6 people a vote because I don't want to go down. But you can go as far as you want. Personally, I do say if you're in a constituency with a lot of independents, uh, and a few, Irish Freedom Party, take for example, or anything like that, you can go down the page a bit. Yeah. Uh, But to be totally honest, these are the people I'm voting for, the 6 candidates I'm voting for, are the most important, like the people that I trust, really. Yeah, that makes sense. 1, 2, and 3, yeah, but ultimately, yes, as the posting says here, ultimately, the most important votes are 1, 2, and 3. That's the most important ones. Uh, but every vote really counts. It would transfers, etc., etc. Every vote counts. Yeah, I heard Fell Mountain song. Yeah, I'm sure I shared it on the Yeah, so that's what I'm saying to you. Uh, we see how it goes anyway. But unfortunately, as I say, it seems like it will be probably the same old Fino Von Fino Gale. Who knows? We see what happens. We can't be doom and gloom, I suppose. But I do recommend to people in Cavan vote for Val Mountain or vote for Lester Gordon because again, at the end of the day, the way I'm voting, just to say, they have a video up on it. It's part 2, just to say to everybody. Part 2 is where I talk about who I'm voting for. If that makes any sense. So again, it's about really stop the top vote that I'm given is about stopping Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael getting a seat. It's just kind of trying to cut them from getting a seat. If that makes any sense. But yeah, definitely, I would say to people to vote for. Yeah, you can do one. Yeah, you can do. You can vote. You can only give one vote if you want. Like you can, of course you can. Yeah, but I would recommend giving at least 3 votes anyway. That's what I would say if you want to. It's up to you. As I say, I can't be telling you what to do. But I do recommend give a few people a few extra votes if there's a few independents. But if you're in one constituency, it's only like one candidate. You can do one vote. Yeah. But I would say to people to use your vote anyway, and not to spoil it. If that makes sense. So do vote accordingly, I suppose. Early video. Oh, you watched my auto video, the part one. I just went through the Fianna Fáil video. Like I just went through the candidates and why I didn't vote, why I wouldn't vote for them. If that makes any sense. Um, just to say to people, because I brought up a good few points that people probably wouldn't have thought about, like in terms of the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael vote, etc., etc. Trying to convince people, that are on the sideline that they might vote Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Cavan. Hopefully, maybe I convinced a few of them not to vote, like in Fianna Fáil, Fáil and Fine Gael's favour, to even take this out people for profit. But definitely part two is the one you should be watching, because that goes through the ones I'm voting for and the reasons why. Like I go into in depth on it. It's a lot. It is long. Like it is very long. I will say that, and it was longer. I cut a lot of it out of it. So half of the stuff that you're going to see in the videos, uh, there's a lot more to be said. It's more of it like on the cutting room floor, if that makes any sense. Yeah, there's not much choice. Yeah, there's not much choice, but choose whatever you take. I suppose is the best. But you can bring your own pencil. Yeah, you can, and you can bring your own pen. Yeah. Uh, but it's up to you, I suppose. At the end, I can't really say. But as far as I know, it depends, I suppose, on the voting, whoever's over the voting. But as far as I know, from the electoral commission, because I looked into this before, the electoral commission has said that it's okay for you to bring in a pen or a pencil. As far as I gather, I've seen a video literally from the election committee saying that you can bring in a pen and a pencil, your own pen and pencil. So as far as I know, maybe it's not true, but I've seen it for the election committee. Why would you? I don't know. Some people would rather bring in their own pen as pets. Like some people do. I last time I voted in the family care referendum, and I don't know where she was coming in, but there was an elderly woman coming with a pen. So I don't know where maybe she was there. I don't know. Yeah, but just be a case, just in case, ask beforehand, just to make sure, because some people might have an issue with it. But I don't see it's only a pen and a pencil, you know. But do ask, just be beforehand, just to make sure. But I don't see, because again, the election committee said it that it should be okay. But again, just to be sure, 100%, because I don't want them saying you're not entitled to vote, etc. Any plans doing black? But no plans in that. But just to be 100%, because I might be wrong with that. So, but I do remember the election committee. Where was that? Yeah. I check it up for you now, because I remember seeing some video on it, uh, and I remember looking into it a bit. Yeah, I check it. I just check into it, just because I don't want to be misleading you. There was a video from somewhere. Where is this? What is the election committee in Ireland? Like the committee over the elections in Ireland? What are they called? I can't remember what they're called, but I remember seeing something about it. I'm bringing my back then. Yeah. What is that called anyway? The election committee. Um, just want to double check, because I don't want to be misleading anybody to do, and anybody getting in trouble for it. Give me a second. I just look into it now just to make sure. So I'm just looking. I don't know. Can't remember where I seen the video, but I remember seeing. Shit. So use all brought pens in before, because if that's the case, then I presume you're allowed to do it. Yeah, I did. Well, it should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine then if you did it before. Yeah. No, I'm just double checking now. I remember seeing a video on it. Don't quote me now, but I do remember the election committee like the electoral committee, the people over the elections in Ireland, talking about it. Like they were answering questions and stuff. So I don't remember. I don't remember where I seen it, but I did see it. It could have been on Twitter. But I presume you're okay. Yeah, presume you're okay. I don't see any. As long as you don't spoil it. Yeah, I suppose it does depend on who's there. Like it depends on it depends on who's the person. Is somebody going to be a cavan? I suppose if that makes any sense. You get with it. It's not the rules itself. It might be the person just might have an issue with it. How do you get on the Santa train? What train? Which train? Uh, right here. I'm afraid I have to go because I'm here literally 20 minutes more than I should be here tonight. So I leave you to it. We'll be back tomorrow night. Let's say 7 o'clock or so. How does that sound? Uh, I should be available by that time, 7 o'clock. Yeah. So 7 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be back. I'll try and find that video. I'm going to look into that video and see if you can find it. So remember the man. I don't know where I seen it, but I remember seeing it. Could be on Facebook either. I don't remember. But I do remember seeing it because somebody asked about bringing their own pens and pencils, and I remember seeing it. So, but I look into it. How does that sound? And I see can I find it just to be 100% sure, because I don't want to be spreading misinformation or disinformation. But anyway, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the evening. We'll be back tomorrow. I talk to you then. Bye.